Hello and welcome to the campus of Plainfield High School. My name is Lec Zorn and I'll be bringing you all the action as your Plainfield Quakers challenge the Greenwood Woodmen in Week 5 of the Indiana High School football season. Well, your Quakers enter the midway point of the regular season having played fairly well so far. Their record is only 2-2, but those two losses both came against highly ranked opponents, 58-32 against Avon, currently the number 7 ranked team in Class 6A, and 45, and at that we will pause for the national anthem. Well, thank you for that. Well, thank you to the Plainfield Marching Quakers for that very lovely rendition of the national anthem. And at that, I will just start the commentary over because I just got interrupted so early, and I don't want to break my momentum here. Hello, and welcome to the campus of Plainfield High School. My name is Lec Zorn, and I'll be bringing you all the action as your Plainfield Quakers challenge the Greenwood Woodmen in Week 5 of the Indiana High School football season. Well, your Quakers enter the midway point of the regular season having played fairly well so far. Their record is only 2-2, but both of those losses came against highly ranked opponents, 58-32 against Avon, currently the number 7 ranked team in Class 6A, and 45-20 against 9-time state champion Roncalli, currently the number 1 ranked team in Class 5A. In its 2 wins, Plainfield beat 4-time state champion Tri-West 21-7 and mid-state conference rival Mooresville 54-14. But more importantly, the Quakers so far have avoided the major injuries that have plagued them very badly in the last 4 seasons, and if they stay healthy, they have a solid chance to finally get over the hump and win a sectional for only the 2nd time ever. Tonight, Plainfield tries to move back above 500 against the Greenwood Woodmen, who enter the game at 4-0 and ranked number 6 in Class 4A, but their record is inflated by a weak schedule. 3 of their 4 opponents, Perry, Meridian, Martinsville, and Mooresville, are currently 0-4, and their only other one came against Class 3A Indian Creek, who's currently 3-1. Now, so far this season, Plainfield has rushed 135 times and passed 99, a ratio of 1.4 to 1. As expected, superstar junior quarterback Ben Slaton has been the focal point of the Quakers' offense and has overall done a good job, especially for having played against such tough competition and having lost his top 2 receivers from last season, Gavin Ritter and Dante Keys, both of whom are now playing collegiately. In his second full season as starter, Slaton has completed 55 of 96 passes, 57.3%, for 824 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. His 2 leading receivers are senior Gavin Jacobs, who has 16 receptions for 244 yards and 4 touchdowns, and junior Cade Ritter, who has 15 receptions for 244 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the ground, Plainfield is led for the 2nd consecutive season by superstar senior Dawson Anderson, who has 67 rushes for 442 yards and 7 touchdowns. Junior Tavian Gadia has also contributed heavily with 43 rushes for 257 yards and 2 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Greenwood has rushed 192 times and passed 58, a ratio of 3.3 to 1. However, the Woodmen have a surprisingly effective passing offense for such a ratio. Senior quarterback Seth Gallman has completed 38 of 58 passes, 65.5% for 553 yards, 9 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. His leading receiver is senior Connor Battineau, who has 17 receptions for 208 yards and 5 touchdowns. In addition, senior R.J. Myers has 6 receptions for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. And sophomore Luke Raker has 7 receptions for 101 yards and 1 touchdown. On the ground, Greenwood is led by senior Brandon Rosado, who has 75 rushes for 453 yards and 6 touchdowns. Aforementioned quarterback Seth Gallman is also very effective in this area, with 41 rushes for 192 yards and 5 touchdowns, while junior Nick Willem has 39 rushes for 183 yards. Plainfield's head coach is Brian Woodard, who's 71-54 in his 12th season with the Quakers. Greenwood's head coach is Mike Campbell, who's 62-64 in his 12th season with the Woodmen. Neither man has ever been a head coach anywhere else. Well, at this time, we'll take a short pause for a few words from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with the opening kickoff. Plainfield Greenwood coming at you live under the Friday Night Lights. Next. You're listening to Plainfield Football, powered by Audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast is brought to you by Wicker Construction, Gunnell and Kinnaman LLP, Jimmy John's, KG Enterprises, and Hoosier Tent and Party Rental. For more than 2 decades, Wicker Construction has engaged in building one-of-a-kind homes and remodeling projects while exceeding client expectations, delivering projects with professionalism and integrity. Wicker Construction works closely with you, the client, to understand your lifestyle and construction needs. Jimmy John's offers freaky fast delivery and are last-minute catering specialists. They are located at 2683 East Main Street next to BW3s and open from 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Saturday. More information can be found at 837-8282, that's 837-8282, or at jimmyjohns.com, that's jimmyjohns.com. How prepared are you for retirement? When will you be able to retire? How much will you be able to draw each year in retirement? What is the likelihood that you'll outlive your savings and investments? What are the financial issues that could deplete your assets? If you can't confidently answer all of these questions, then you might benefit from getting a written financial plan. Having a written financial plan increases your chances of a good retirement by 60%, according to a recent survey by Forbes magazine. However, they also reported that only 24% of people have a written financial plan. At Gunnell and Kinnaman Financial, we will help you plan for your future, and the best time to start is today. By coordinating your tax planning with your retirement planning, we can give the chance you want for a better retirement. Contact us today at 317-203-4433. That's 317-203-4433. That's 317-203-4433. Or email us at info@gkfin.com. That's info@gkfin.com. Gunnell and Kinnaman Financial Accounting, Tax, and Wealth Managers. Hoosier Tent and Party Rental at 101042 Bradford Road in Avon, that's 101042 Bradford Road in Avon, has been serving Hendricks County for 16 years. They have all your party rental needs. Call them at 317-272-9746. That's 317-272-9746 for your 2018 graduation party needs. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're about to kick off. It's just about a perfect evening for football. It's 6:58 to go right now, and they're already setting the ball on the tee. I've never seen a game that – I've seen some games that started right on time at 7 o'clock. I've never seen one that started before, and it looks like that might happen tonight. We have 80 degrees under a mostly clear sky. We got a great crowd here, somewhere in the neighborhood of, I think, 3,000 fans, including about 300 Greenwood fans across the field in the visiting bleachers who made the trip, which is probably about an hour, at least 45 minutes under US 31, I-65, and I-465 traffic. So now Greenwood's set to kick off to Plainfield. Maybe they're going to wait right. Now we got the kickoff a minute early. It goes deep into the end zone. It bounces at the 10. Fielded about the 5 drop. Been picked up, brought up to the 20. and 25, and he's going to be brought down. So the Quakers start at about the 26 there. That was Gavin Jacobs there on the return there. So the Quakers take over at the 25 with 11:53 to go here in the first quarter, trying to get off to a good start. Greenwood enters the game at 4-0, so now we've got Gavin Jacobs and Cade Ritter lined up to the left, two other receivers to the right. Ben Slaton, the junior quarterback, possibly the best junior quarterback in the state, in shotgun now. Takes it, fakes the handoff, screen pass, complete, and it is dropped by Derek Keller, a junior. He had both hands on it and then just dropped it. Slaton started 4 games as a freshman in place of the injured Colin Nicewander, then started every game last year as a sophomore, possibly the best sophomore quarterback in the state. And now he hands off, and he gets it up for about 5 yards. And somebody's helmet came off. And that was Dawson Anderson's. The team's he was a superstar last year as a sophomore. As a junior, he missed 4 games with mononucleosis, but came back strong, picked up where he left off, hoping for a banner senior season. A very solid college prospect. So now 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Fixed the handoff to Anderson, throws up, and it is, I believe, I couldn't tell if he caught it or not, but if he, no, they said he didn't. Regardless, he would have been about 3 yards short of the first down. So 3 and out apparently to start the game for your Quakers. The clock stopping with 11:30 to go. 3 plays, 3 rushes. 3 plays, 3 passes. Only one of them complete. So now back deep to receive for the Woodmen. We have Noah Compton. He is a senior. He takes it at the 40, but he's brought down immediately by 3 Quakers. So great coverage there by Plainfield. So only 38 seconds. They only used 38 seconds now. Let's see what the Woodmen do. Like I said, they have a 3.3 rush to pass ratio, but they are a surprisingly effective passing team as well. So now the Woodmen line up, surprisingly, an empty backfield. Seth Gallman is their quarterback. He has 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Takes it and fakes the handoff, takes it up himself, and he gets about 5 yards up the middle. So a good start to the game for the Woodmen offense, trying to show that their 4-0 record is not a fluke. They're still getting a lot of respect in the polls, ranked number 6 in Class 4A, but a victory over Plainfield, a 5A team, would definitely show that the Woodmen are for real. So now 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right, Gallman and shotgun. Screen pass, it's complete for the first down, and he gets up about 5 more. That was Isaiah Drew there, a junior for the Woodmen. Brings it up to the Plainfield 45 or so. So now 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Now the 1 running back now. Now fakes the handoff, now pitches it back. And he gets up for another first down. That was Luke Raker there, a sophomore showing great promise, only 5'7", 135. And we got a flag well after the play. Let's see what that's all about. We got 3 officials deliberating now. The penalty has been waived off, so 10:31 to go. Greenwood off to a good start on offense, 1st and 10 at the 32. This is the midway point of the regular season. So 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Gallman, screen pass complete, over for about a pickup of about 5 yards or so. The reception was made there by that was R.J. Myers. He is a senior. So they gave him credit for 7. They got a little more yards than I thought. 2nd and 3 now. Gallman. Now he takes it himself. He's got the first down more inside the 20, inside the 15. Goes over to the left side, gets up to about the 13. So Seth Gallman, the team's 2nd leading rusher, doing a very good job on that play. So the Woodmen get into the red zone less than 2 minutes into this game. It would be very big for them if they were to open the scoring here. Now, R.J. Myers only 6 receptions coming into tonight, but he averages 22 yards a reception. So now pass again to Myers. He's got it again, and he's picks up about another 5, gets inside the 10. So 9:56 to go now here in the first quarter. So far, the Quakers' defense having no answers for the Woodmen. Both of these coaches, Brian Woodard for Plainfield and Mike Campbell for Greenwood in his 12th season as head coach. Plainfield has won 7 and lost 4 against the Woodmen in that time. So now Gallman gets the snap with an empty backfield. Screen pass complete over on the right side. Breaks the tackle, gets inside the 5. He might have the first down. It's going to be close. I believe that was Drew there on the reception. We do have a flag. So here in the early going at Plainfield, the Quakers defense has no answer for all these short passes of Seth Gallman. And now the officials deliberate it's going to be holding against the Woodmen. So first big break for the Quakers in this game so far comes with 9:49 to go here in the first quarter. No score, but the Woodmen are in the red zone and have moved the ball fairly easily so far. Still got a fair amount of daylight left. So 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right, 1 running back. Now fakes the handoff. Gallman takes it himself. He's got a hole up the middle. He could go all the way, and he does. Touchdown, Greenwood. Seth Gallman on an 11-yard keeper with 9:30 to go, and the Woodmen open the scoring here at Plainfield. Like I said, a win by the Woodmen would send a message without a doubt that they are for real. Like I said, they entered the game 4-0, but with 3 of their wins coming against teams that are currently 0-4, and the other coming against a lower-class team. And now the extra point is up and good by Gavin Dowling, a 6'5", 250 sophomore. Definitely one of the biggest kickers I've ever commentated. So, I was surprised he missed that kick. Sorry, I forgot to look sometimes at this angle, the looks are deceiving, and I have to remember to wait for the arms to be raised, so I apologize for that. But anyway, 9:30 to go here in the first quarter at Plainfield. Your Quakers fall behind 6-0. Trying to answer. They went 3 and out on the first possession. First and 10 at the they're kicking off from the 40. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. And now kickoff fielded at about the 10, brought up to the 25. And I got a late flag here. I was saying thank you, by the way, to the Plainfield stats crew, who are the most awesome stats crew in the world. They give me the stats after every score and at the end of every period. Yeah, Seth Gallman was literally perfect on that first possession, completed all 4 of his passes, and ran in a touchdown. The officials are deliberating now, 2 of them to be exact. So let's see, it's holding against the Quakers. So, but there's no, I thought they were saying a penalty too against Greenwood, but I guess not. So, first and 10 at the 16. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. So now, handoff to Anderson, and he takes it up for just about 2 yards. They were ready for him. So the clock keeps ticking, 9:16 to go here in the first quarter. Greenwood 6, Plainfield 0. The Woodmen got a touchdown, missed the conversion. So now 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Dawson Anderson, the running back, Slaton in shotgun. Some movement at the line, but no flag. Slaton actually looked over at an official as if he were looking for a flag. No, I think he was looking to the sideline, but clock keeps ticking now, down to 17 on the play clock. Hands off to Anderson, who this time breaks through and gets a gain of about 5, so it'll bring up 3rd and short, 8:38 to go. So your Quakers would be very big. It's 3rd and 4 now at the 22. It would be very big if they were to get a first down here. Once again, Slaton looking over for instructions, as is Anderson. There seems to be some confusion, and now he turns back, waits for the snap, picks it up, hands off to Anderson again. He's got the first by about a yard. So I'll tell you, I know it's only Plainfield's second possession of the game, but it would have been very bad for them had they ended up with another punt, because Greenwood would then get a chance to get the ball Greenwood would get the ball with a chance to take a 2-possession lead, and like I said, they moved the ball almost at will on their first possession. So now another handoff to Anderson, dodges a tackle and plows his way up for about 4 or 5. By the way, I forgot to say at the top of the broadcast, special thanks to Doug Edens, who's working the camera tonight, and he will be giving you some special commentary at the half. So it's good to work with Doug again. I think it's been 4 years since last time. 3 years, excuse me. It was during the 2014 season when J.P. Sinclair and I were combining to cover most of the Quakers games. So now, Slaton throwing, and it's incomplete. Intended receiver was Cade Ritter. You know, Gavin Ritter was the Quakers' leading receiver last year. It's oddly appropriate that the team's two leading receivers this year are Cade Ritter and Gavin Jacobs. So you still have the name Gavin and Ritter in there, just with different players now. So 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Slaton drops back to pass. And he throws downfield. He's got a man open. It is caught, and he's going to go all the way for the touchdown. Yes! Gavin Jacobs, a 69-yard touchdown pass from Ben Slaton, and the Quakers strike back. They're an extra point away from taking the lead. I'll tell you, Jacobs was well covered, but the Woodman defending him fell down, and so once Jacobs made the catch, he had an open path to the end zone. Well, now the extra point. It is up, and it is good, so the Quakers have the lead. And now the atmosphere here in Plainfield a lot better than it was a couple of minutes ago. So, Plainfield 7, Greenwood 6 with 6:59 to go here in the first quarter at Plainfield. And that's, I'll tell you, Ben Slaton last year possibly the best sophomore quarterback in the state. But the big problem is he lost his top two receivers, both of whom are now playing college ball. Gavin Ritter over at DePaul and Dante Keys, I believe it's Northwest Missouri State, who are, I believe they won last year's Division II national championship. And there's some other, Bryce Biddle from a lineman from last year's team now playing at Western Illinois. A few others, John Hagee, Morgan Hagee's younger brother, has joined his older brother at Ball State. Morgan, a junior now with the Cardinals, one of the top college football kickers in the country, hopefully be in the NFL in a couple of years. So now kicking off for your Quakers, we have Brigham Anderson. And fielded at the 10, up to the 15, 20, 25, 30. And he plows his way forward, falls down at about the 33. And I'll tell you, Brigham Anderson is the only person other than Brigham Young that I know of in history who's ever had the first name Brigham. So it's definitely a name that, catches. It was a real eye catcher for that reason. So now the Woodmen scored easily the first time. Let's see if they make it 2 for 2, or if the Plainfield defense will catch on and figure out a way to contain the very efficient Greenwood offense. And they got a wide open man. He's up to the 45, 40, 35, 30. He was just somebody missed coverage there. So we got a gain of about 38 yards there. I didn't catch who that was, but it was a huge gain, so it'll set up first and 10 at about the 30. That caught me off guard, too. So now one receiver to each side. I formation now. And now Gallman throws a screen pass. It's completed for about 5 yards up the middle. First time that I've seen any team, I've commentated any team that's lined up with an I formation this season. That was Armani Johnson, a freshman for the Woodmen, on the reception. So now 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. 1 running back. The running back is Brandon Rosado, the team's leading rusher. Should be, playing college ball a year from now. And now fakes the handoff to Rosado, pitches over to Raker. He's got some room on the left side. He's got past the 20, past the 15, past the 10, and he's tackled at about the 7 by 3 Quakers. So 5:54, and the Woodmen getting inside the 10 both times so far in this game. $5:54 to go, and I'll tell you, this is a real concern. The Quakers gave up 58 points to Avon, 45 points to Roncalli. Those are both super marquee programs. Greenwood is a solid program, but nothing out of the ordinary. So, so far you got to be concerned at the way Greenwood is moving the ball here against the Quakers. Now Greenwood lines up 2 receivers to the right, 2 running backs. Gallman gives it to Rosado. He's got a hole there, and he could get in the end zone. He's going to be close, and no, he got in standing up. So in the first 7 minutes of this game, 3 touchdowns, and the Woodmen go back in front, 12-7 with the conversion pending. So far, no answers at all for the rushing or passing attack of Greenwood. So Gavin Dowling, once again on the extra point, is up, and he is good. Got it this time, so 13-7. Well, it very well could. It's early. The Quakers could make some defensive adjustments, but right now it looks like for Plainfield to win this game, they might just have to outscore the Woodmen, and I mean that from the standpoint that that the Quakers defense might not be able to stop Greenwood enough, so that Plainfield just might have to score in the 40s or 50s or more to win. It's just a few miles southeast of here that we had the highest scoring game in Indiana history 4 years ago. Decatur Central, Plainfield's next opponent, lost to Perry Meridian in regulation 83-78. So now we've got Joey Craig. Thank you very much. Thanks. Joey Craig to kick off for the Woodmen. This time it's a squib, picked up at the 26, brought up to the 30, 35, and almost to the 40. So Plainfield does start over in good field position. They're down by 6. Plainfield. It could be that Greenwood might not kick deep anymore tonight. Because Plainfield already has a touchdown return on a kickoff return touchdown this year. So now pitch back to Anderson. He takes it over to the left side, and he makes about 4 or 5 yards after contact, gets a gain of about 7 out of it. So they'll give him credit for 6 there. So now 2 receivers to the left, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Now a miscommunication there. There's a pass there to Ritter, and there was a miscommunication between the two, and the ball was thrown well to Ritter's left. So that'll bring up 3rd and 4. But yeah, Gage Jacobs had a 92-yard kickoff return for a touchdown earlier this season for the Quakers, so could be that they won't get any deep kicks thrown their way. Now pass down to the left, and it is caught there for the first down by Ritter. He falls down immediately, but not before he picks up about 20 yards there. So it'll bring up first and 10 at about the 33. So the Quakers, after going 3 and out on their first possession, their offense has come alive, and they're going to probably need it tonight. 1st and 10 at the 34. Pitch back now to Tavian Gadia, who's in the game for the first time, and he gets about 3. 4:28 to go here in the first quarter. Greenwood 13, Plainfield 7. Quakers have it. Second and about 6 now. And now another handoff to Gadia. This time he picks up 2 or 3. So it's going to be a 3rd and about 4 here. Gadia, a little guy, 5'4", 170, but he has great speed, great power for his size. It'd be great if he grew a few more inches, but nevertheless, he's going to be the go-to guy on rushing next year after Dawson Anderson graduates. So now once again, Slaton looking for instructions on the sidelines. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Now he throws, and there could be pass interference. The fans wanted it, but no. There was definitely some contact, but definitely contact on Ritter, the intended receiver, from Justin Van Dyke of Greenwood, but nothing called. Nevertheless, the Quakers apparently are going to go for it. 4th and 3 here, 3:36 to go here in the first quarter at Plainfield. The Quakers coming in at 2-2. They've won the 2 games they should have won over Mooresville and Tri-West. Now pass, and it is incomplete, and the Woodmen take over on downs and with a chance to take a 2-possession lead. So well-thrown ball just, went through his hands. So the Woodmen take over at the 26. Unfortunately, the second digit on the yard line part of the scoreboard is only partly working, so I'll try to work around that. But now finally, for the first time, the Woodmen, get little positive yardage on a play. I think they might give him credit for 1 on that rush. He went all the way he could, as far as he could to the right side, but didn't have anything. And they're marking him down, it looks like, for no gain. Couldn't tell who that was. So 2nd and 9 now. They did give him credit for 1. So it's 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Gallman drops back. He throws. It's a completion for the first down. A little past the 40 up to the 41. That was Luke Raker. He had 1 reception for 38 on the last drive, helping set up that touchdown. So now the clock stops briefly to move the chains. 2:52 to go here in the first quarter at Plainfield. So 2 receivers to the right, 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Gallman in shotgun. And now he doesn't. And now he's brought down for a sack. Boy, did the Plainfield defense need that. They have not done well tonight at all, but so they got a good stop there, so that'll move it to about 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13 for the Woodmen. So now 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Gallman fakes the handoff. Now he pitches back, and he's brought down for another loss, so 2 big stops in a row for the Quakers. So, yeah, Gallman faked a handoff, then pitched back to one of his wide receivers who got hammered. So that'll bring up 3rd and long, the first time that the Woodmen have been in that position in the entire game. Under 2 minutes to go now in the first quarter. Greenwood with the ball, leading 13-7. The Woodmen are 4-0, ranked number 6 in the state in Class 4A. Now 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Gallman throws down on the right side, and it's just, and now we got a, it's incomplete, but we got a flag. I think it's going to be pass interference against the Quakers. $1:43 to go. So now, and I think this especially is upsetting to the fans here who wanted pass interference on, I believe it was the, it was the Plainfield's last possession. There was a controversial no call there on what could have been a pass interference. Pass interference against the Quakers, so it will be a first down. Tough break for the Quakers when they got Greenwood 3rd and long for the first time in the entire game. So 1:43 to go here in the first quarter. Greenwood now has the ball 1st and 10 at the 50. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Most plays they've had at most 1 running back. Gallman, their quarterback, does a lot of rushing. Now Gallman throws, and it's complete again for another first down. The player kneels immediately. He had to get down low to get it, but that's Connor Batineau for the Woodmen. He is a senior. 1:37 to go. But I'll tell you, if the Quakers have more than enough offensive power to come back from 2 possessions down, but the real concern is and now handoff there. Believe that was Rosado again, who picks up about 2 or 3 there, so it will bring up 2nd and 7 there at the 34. 1:03 to go here in the first quarter. 7:27 your time of day. One receiver at each side. I formation now. Fake stand off to Rosado. Now Gallman throws deep. He's got a man open, and it's just overthrown. The intended receiver there was Isaiah Drew, a 6', 165-pound junior. So that'll bring up 3rd and 7. Last time it was 3rd and long earlier in this possession. Plainfield is called for pass interference, giving the Woodmen a first down. Now the Quakers trying to hold the Woodmen scoreless on a drive for the first time in this game. They scored a touchdown their first 2 times. So now 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the right. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Rosado gets it, and he gets maybe 2 or 3 up the middle. 35 seconds to go and counting here in the first quarter. The Woodmen taking their time. They could run out the rest. It's good. There's the quarter and the quarter and play clocks are just about the same. So it looks like they are going to just let the clock run off. So after 1 quarter here in Plainfield, your Quakers trail the Greenwood Woodmen by a score of 13-7 here on audiosportsonline.com. You're listening to Plainfield Football, powered by audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast is brought to you by Wicker Construction, Gunnell and Kinneman LLP, Jimmy John's, KJ Enterprises, and Hoosier Tent and Party Rental. For more than 2 decades, Wicker Construction has engaged in building one-of-a-kind homes and remodeling projects while exceeding client expectations, delivering projects with professionalism and integrity. Wicker Construction works closely with you, the client, to understand your lifestyle and construction needs. Jimmy John's offers freaky fast delivery and are last-minute catering specialists. They're located at 2683, that's 2683 East Main Street next to BW3s, and open from 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Saturday. More information can be found at 832-8282, that's 832-8282, or online at jimmyjohns.com, that's jimmyjohns.com. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're about to start the second quarter where your Quakers, in a state of concern, they trail the visiting Greenwood Woodmen by a score of 13-7 here on audiosportsonline.com. Greenwood has the ball. 4th and 5 at the 32. They're going for it. Very big play for the Quakers defense. And Gallman throws down on the right side, and it is incomplete. 2 guys had a shot at it. Owen Litzelman for the Quakers had a chance for the interception, and the intended receiver for Greenwood. Let's see, I'm trying to see his. I believe that was. I believe it was Isaiah Drew, but anyway. So a good break for the Quakers. The first time all game that the Woodmen have not scored a touchdown on a possession, so Plainfield will be taking over. 1st and 10 at their own 32. They need just a touchdown and the 1 to take the lead. Anderson gets it, moves up for about 2 or 3. The first quarter, Anderson went 6 for 26 with a long of 6. By the way, that incompletion on that last play by Seth Gallman, only his second incompletion of the game. He is 8 for 10 with 94 yards and a long of 38. Also scored a rushing touchdown. So now, handoff, another handoff to Anderson. Gets maybe 1 yard, so the Quakers in 3rd and long. Quakers, obviously in good position to hold that thought. 2 receivers to each side, though. 2 receivers to each side. Dawson Anderson, the running back. We have Ritter and Jacobs lined up to the left. So now Slaton takes it, looks downfield, throws up the middle. It is complete, and he's going all the way for the touchdown. 68 yards. Oh, my God. Who was that? That was Tyler McCarty. He is a senior. Not very well known even among Quakers fans, but he came through on that one. So now, once again, the Quakers will take a lead with an extra point. So both touchdown receptions for Dawson Anderson so far coming from 68 and 69 yards. I'm sorry, for Ben Slaton, excuse me. Now the extra point is up, and it is good by Landon Williams. The Quakers have they've tried several kickers this season to replace the Hagee brothers, Morgan and John, now both of whom are playing at Ball State. So the Quakers go back on top 14-13, and that's a big relief. And what I was starting to say earlier before I got sidetracked is that if the Quakers were to go down by 2 possessions, while they certainly have a good enough offense to make up that kind of deficit, their defense, until that last stand, didn't show that they could contain the Woodmen defense well enough. So now things are looking a lot brighter for the Quakers than they did a couple of minutes ago. And wow. So Ben Slaton here in the early going, he's only completed 3 of 9 passes, but the 3 completions go for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns. The touchdowns going 69 yards to Gavin Jacobs, 67 to Tyler McCarty. So now the Quakers to kick off. And it bounces at about 16, taken on a hop at the 15, brought up to the 20, 25, and about the 27 before he's knocked out of bounds. That was Noah Compton on the return for the Woodmen. 10:31 to go now. Greenwood will take over, trying to get the lead back. Already 3 lead changes, a little over a quarter into this game. 7:35 your time of day, 10:31 to go here in the second quarter. So now 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Rosado, the running back. Gallman gets a low snap, passes over, and it's off the hands of Drew there. So 2nd and 10 for the Woodmen, 10:28 to go here in the second quarter. It's now 7:35. The sunset is scheduled for 7:53. Just 4 weeks ago in the opener, it was 8:37, so we're losing about 10 minutes of daylight a week. Monday, I'll be back right at this very stadium. Hold that thought. So now the snap hits the ground, and now the incomplete on Gallman did a good job picking it up, but he rushed off a screen pass, and it was incomplete. The intended receiver there, I believe it was Keyshawn Mateka for the Woodmen. 10:22 to go now. So 3rd and 10 for the Woodmen. So all of a sudden, Gallman's been incomplete on his last 3 passes. He was started off 8 for 9. So now Gallman, and then they got him for a sack. No, he dodges free, but he's still brought down. He gains 2 or 3, but it's going to be 4th and long. So now the Plainfield defense has come through on the last 2 possessions, and the Quakers will get the ball back with a chance to pat on their lead now. By the way, coming into this game tonight, Tyler McCarty had only 4 receptions through the first 4 games for 60 yards and a long of 29, so obviously that touchdown by far his biggest play of the season. Now the punt here, called for a fair catch, and it is taken. No, he drops it, but he picks it up, and Logan Burden there got it. That's not Burton, but Burden, B-U-R-D-O-N, as in Eric Burden and War, for all you classic rock fans. So, speaking of Eric Burden and War, they're primarily known for their song Spill the Wine. I actually recently heard an old American Top 40 episode in which Casey Kasem said that song was actually written about a guy in the band actually spilling a bottle of wine on the mixing board at a studio and getting sent the bill for $20,000. But he made more than enough money off that song to pay off the $20,000. So anyway, then Dawson Anderson there takes it over to the left side and picks up almost a first down there. Anderson had a solid, not a spectacular first quarter, but a decent first quarter. Coming into this drive, he was 8 for 27. Then he picked up another 9 on that one. Now 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Slaton throws down the right side, and it is just a little overthrown there. The intended receiver was Anderson, who went deep. But it's 3rd and 1, so it was worth a chance there. 9:01 to go now in the second quarter. The Quakers have it 1st and 10 at the Plainfield 44. Quakers I feel much better when they're playing ahead rather than playing from behind. So now fake handoff, pass over, complete there, and he's got some room on the right side, and he could go all the way 1 minute. No, but he stepped out of bounds. But he still picked up a first down. I think they said he stepped out around the 42. Boy, had he not stepped out, he had 1 man to beat. So a nice reception there by Gavin Jacobs, who is a 6', 175-pound junior. 8:53 to go now here in the quarter. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Now, pass over, completed to Ritter, breaks a tackle and plows his way up to the 40, to the 32 or 33. So he's going to be short of a first down. It'll be about 3rd and 4. Cade Ritter wearing the same number as his older brother Gavin, who's now playing up at DePaul, about 40 miles west of here in Greencastle. Probably could have played. DePaul, I believe, is Division III. Ritter probably could have played Division II, maybe Division I AA, but glad to see that he chose to stay close to home. So now pass downfield, and it's a touchdown. 33 yards there to Cade Ritter for the touchdown. Picking up where his older brother left off. So now 20-13 Plainfield with the conversion pending. 5 touchdowns, only not quite a third of the way into this game, so this could be a long one tonight. The post-game show could take me quite a while to get through. And the kick is up and good. So Williams 3 for 3 tonight. So wild and woolly game so far tonight in Plainfield. Your Quakers, after a shaky start, now lead the Greenwood Woodmen by a score of 21-13 here on audiosportsonline.com. Well, I'll tell you, I alluded earlier to that game in which Decatur Central and Plainfield played the highest scoring game in Indiana history 4 years ago, and that was actually also the fourth most total yards gained between two teams, not just in Indiana, in the country. They gained like 1,800 or so yards in that game, the two teams combined. And I originally was scheduled to commentate that game. Then I got switched to Zionsville at Lafayette McCutcheon that night, so my buddy J.P. Sinclair and I think one of his broadcast partners ended up doing that game. So I missed a real dandy. Not only that, but the Zionsville at Lafayette McCutcheon game, not even half of it got played before there was a lightning delay. It was resumed the next day, and I wasn't able to make it back, sadly. So, oh well. But anyway, though, so now, kickoff goes deep. It is picked up at the 11, brought up to the 15, 20, 25, and about the 27. So Greenwood will start off the drive around their own 26 or 27. They need a touchdown in the 2-point conversion. They scored a touchdown in their first two. They scored a touchdown on their first two possessions, and then did not score at all on their third and fourth possessions. The Quakers' defense much improved during the course of this game. So now let's see. We've got Raker lined up to the right for the Woodmen. 2 running backs, including Rosado. Gallman in shotgun. Handoff there. And he pitches back to Rosado, and he's got a first down. So nice trick play there by the Woodmen. 8:26 to go here in the second quarter. Greenwood struggled in their last 2 drives after looking almost unstoppable on their first 2. So so the play's coming back. There was a holding penalty against the Woodmen. So let's see. So 21-13, Plainfield leading, 8:26 to go here in the second quarter. Just a little bit of sunlight left. The Friday night lights are on. So now let's see. We got 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, 2 running backs. Now fakes the handoff to 1 running back, pitches back to the other, and he gets it up past the 30, up to about the 35. So that's Brandon Rosado there for a pickup of about 12 or so. He's going to be, it looks like, just short of the first down. $7:54 to go now in the second quarter. 2nd and 14. Or 2nd and 1, excuse me. 2nd and 1. So now let's see. We've got Batineau and Raker lined up to the right for the Woodmen. Rosado and another running back. And now he fumbles the snap, but Gallman falls on it. So the Woodmen lose a down there, so it'll be about 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 7:28 to go. So the Woodmen line up with Rosado and Anthony Williams in the backfield. Gallman under center now. Hands off to Rosado. He does have the first down. Again, maybe one or two more. But we got a late flag here. 7:10 to go. So we've got 3 officials deliberating now. We'll have to wait and see what the call is. It's going to personal foul face mask against the Quakers. So big rig for the Woodmen, who have not moved the ball well since scoring touchdowns on their first 2 possessions. That'll bring up 1st and 10 at the Plainfield 47. So now, we got an official. We got the whistle blown here. Now the officials are having a discussion. I'm not sure what the issue is now. Looks like we're going to go back in motion here. So once again, we got Rosado and Williams in the backfield. Raker to the right, one receiver to the left. Now fakes the handoff, throws over. It is complete on the right side over by R.J. Myers. He gets up for about 5 on the left side. 7 minutes even to go here in the second quarter. I'll tell you, Greenwood was playing very fast pace on their first 2 possessions. They've really slowed the tempo down a lot since then. Exactly 17 minutes into this game. It's been everything you could ask for and more. We've had more fans continue to pile in. And now it looks like we have, and now the Woodmen take time out for the first time in this game. And at that, we will take a short pause from these words from our sponsors here on AudioSportsOnline.com, with your Plainfield Quakers leading the Greenwood Woodmen by a score of 21-13. How prepared are you for retirement? When will you be able to retire? How much will you be able to withdraw each year in retirement? What is the likelihood that you'll outlive your savings and investments? What are the financial issues that could deplete your assets? If you can't confidently answer all of these questions, then you might benefit from getting a written financial plan. Having a written financial plan increases your chances of a good retirement by 60%, according to a recent survey by Forbes magazine. However, they also reported that only 24% of people have a written financial plan. At Gunnell and Kinnaman Financial, we will help you plan for the future, and the best time to start is today. By coordinating your tax planning with your retirement planning, we can give you the chance you want for a better retirement. Contact us today at 317-203-4433. And back here at Plainfield now, we've got our rush there, and for about 2 or 3 yards up the middle. That was Williams again. So he's going to be, they're going to mark him 3rd and 2 now at the 40. I apologize. I will finish that ad momentarily when I get enough of a break in the action. So now Myers to the left, Raker to the right, Williams and Rosado, the running backs, and Gallman in shotgun for Greenwood. Now hands off, fakes the handoff, pitches back to Rosado, who plows his way forward, gets a couple of yards after contact, and he does get the first down by about a yard. So Rosado showing a lot of toughness there. So, 1st and 10 now for the Woodmen at the Plainfield 35. Greenwood trailing 21-13. So now we've got Myers and Batineau lined up to the right. Raker and Batineau. Now Gallman fakes the handoff, and he's brought down he dodges the sack, and he gets up the middle for about 8 yards, but there is a flag, so let's see what the situation with that is. 5:49 to go here in the second quarter. It's going to be holding against the Woodmen, so it will be coming back. So Greenwood cooled off a lot since they got those 2 early scores. 5:49 to go here in the second quarter. So it'll be 1st and 19 at the 44. At the 49. At the Plainfield 49, the clock ticking again, 5:45 to go. The Woodmen break huddle now with Myers and Batineau to the left. No receivers lined up to the right. Gallman in shotgun. Rosado, the lone running back. Gallman pitches over to Myers, complete on the left side up to the 45-40, and he's knocked out of bounds at about the 38 or 39. So they got about half of what they needed there. 5:25 to go here in the second quarter at Plainfield. Fans have kept piling in. Have maybe 3,500 here, 3,500 fans, maybe about 500 on the Greenwood side. And my hats go off to all of them. It's not easy to get here from Greenwood. So now we got a low snap flag already. Thrown over to Raker. He's got a completion up for a gain of maybe 1. But let's see what the penalty is. Got the officials deliberating here. 5:20 to go here in the second quarter. And now the penalty is being waved off. Second and 8 now at the 34. So now, let's see, we've got Raker and another receiver to the left and one to the right. Now, Gallman takes it himself, and he's got something. He picks up about 8 yards. He's going to be very close to the first down. It'll be 4th and short with 4:48 to go here in the first half. Greenwood, they got off to a 13-7 lead, but their offense has cooled off since, and they have not. They have failed to take away the big play from the Quakers, who've scored touchdowns on 3 huge plays. Plays of 69, 67, and 35 yards. So now Gallman throws over to Raker, and he's got the first down. So it's going to be, they got it inside the 23. So the Woodmen got a good shot to, run off a lot of the rest of the first half. They could tie with a touchdown in the 2. So now let's see, we got now a screen pass over, complete to Batineau. He gets inside the 15, inside and down to about the 10. 4 minutes even to go in the second quarter now. They moved it to 7, got a little better spot than I thought, and now we got a timeout Plainfield with 3:57 to go. So at that, we'll take another break for this word from our sponsors on audiosportsonline.com. Plainfield leading Greenwood 21-13. How prepared are you for retirement? When will you be able to retire? How much will you be able to withdraw each year in retirement? What is the likelihood that you'll outlive your savings and investments? What are the financial issues that could deplete your assets? If you can't confidently answer all of these questions, then you might benefit from getting a written financial plan. Having a written financial plan increases your chances of a good retirement by 60%, according to a recent survey by Forbes magazine. However, they also reported that only 24% of people have a written financial plan. At Cannell and Kinnaman Financial, we will help you plan for your future, and the best time to start is today. By coordinating your tax planning with your retirement planning, we can give you the chance you want for a better retirement. Contact us today at 317-203-4433 or email us at info@gkfin.com. Now, back to action here. Gallman hands off to Rosado, who gets inside for maybe 1 or 2 yards there, bringing up 2nd and goal at about the 6. Oh, they give him a spot up to the 4, got a better spot than I expected. So 3:38 to go. Greenwood led 6-0 and 13-7. Then the Quakers have run off 2 consecutive touchdowns since then. Now Greenwood trying to tie it up here. Now handoff over to Rosado, but he's brought down right around the line of scrimmage. Took it over to the right, but he just didn't get a hold. So 3rd and 4 now for the Woodmen. 3:13 to go now. So now let's see, we got Batineau and Myers lined up to the left, Raker and Van Dyke to the right, and now we've got a flag here. But I'm sorry, that was Raker and Drew. So it's going to be offsides against the Quakers. So that'll be half the distance to the goal. Move it up to the 2. 2:52 to go now. Each team with 2 timeouts left. It's always a sign of a good fundamental team when you save your timeouts till the very end of the half when you really need them, rather than squandering them on petty stuff earlier on. So now handoff to Rosado, but they're ready for him and they stop him. So it's they bring him down right around the line of scrimmage. So it'll be a huge 4th and goal coming up for the Woodmen. 2:30 to go now in the first half. They trail your Quakers 21-13. So the Woodmen line up. Let's see. Got Drew to the right. Rosado and Williams, the running back, fakes the hand up to Rosado. Now Gallman looks over to his left. He throws it to the end zone. Incomplete. The Quakers take over with an 8-point lead. 1:54 to go in the half. Great defensive stand there by the Quakers. Now, it's important to remember they're going to have to avoid the safety because they take over at their own 2. And I've seen situations like this where it resulted in a safety that ended up, even though you only lose 2 points from it, where it really ended up, changing the momentum of the game and opening, and starting a run by the defensive team. So 2 receivers to the right now, no running backs. Anderson gets it, and he goes, Slaton, and he's got some room on the right side. He's past the 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Oh, my God. That's a keeper there of about, okay, that was Dawson Anderson, excuse me. They did a direct snap to Dawson Anderson. I was going to say I didn't think Slaton was capable of that, but anyway. So apparently he stepped out a little earlier than I thought. Oh, wait. So is it coming back? Oh, it's coming back. Sorry, there was a penalty. It was a great play wiped out. It was about a 50-yard run by Dawson Anderson on a direct snap. Did you see what the call was, Doug? So I believe it was holding against the Quakers. So 1:41 to go. The clock moving. The Quakers trying to get out of the half of that. And now a pitch back there to Anderson, and he gets up out of the danger zone, gets up to about the 10. So from here, now, of course, it's possible that Greenwood could, take a timeout in the hope of getting the ball back in decent field position on a punt and having maybe, 45 seconds or so to do something with it. But right now the clock stopped 1:29. Two receivers to the left, one to the right. Pitch back to Anderson. He takes it over to the right, but they're on top of him, and he's brought down around the line of scrimmage with 1:19 to go. So far, however, the Woodmen are not using their timeouts. Well, it looks like we're going to have a spectacular halftime show based on all the band members and props I see there near the scoreboard right now. So now 3rd and 1 for the Quakers, trying to get a first down after under a minute to go now. Slaton looking over to the sideline, which he's done a lot tonight. And Plainfield, they let the play clock run down to 1 and then take a timeout with 39.6 seconds to go. Now, if they get this first down here, they will be able to run out. They will be able to kneel out the clock. So the Quakers doing a good job escaping the danger zone after they had it 1st and goal at their own 2, taking over after that defensive stand where the Woodmen turned it over on downs. So when we resume play here, it will be it'll be 3rd and 1 for the Quakers at the Greenwood 11. 39.6 seconds to go in the second quarter. Plainfield leading Greenwood by a score of 21-13. Quakers have had overall a mixed performance tonight, but they came through when it counted the most, and their offense has come through with 3 huge plays, and that's the reason they're in the lead now. So now 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Fakes the handoff to Anderson. Pitch over for it's a screen pass, good for a short gain and the first down. So presumably from there the Quakers will just run it out. That was Derek Keller on the reception. Greenwood has 2 timeouts. Let's see if they're going to use them. I wouldn't expect that they would, because even if they do, as the clock stops, somebody took a timeout. Okay, Plainfield took a timeout with 31.3 seconds to go. So even if Greenwood takes both of their timeouts, on the 3rd play, Plainfield could kneel out the rest of the clock. So the Quakers apparently will take the lead into the locker room. So at this time, we'll take a short break from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with the remainder of the first half. Hoosier Tent and Party Rental at 101-042 Bradford Road in Avon, that's 101-042 Bradford Road in Avon, has been serving Hendricks County for 16 years. They have all your party rental needs. Call them at 317-272-9746. That's 317-272-9746 for your 2018 graduation party needs. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're almost to halftime with your Plainfield Quakers on top of the undefeated and 6th-ranked team in Class 6A. Let me start over. Your Plainfield Quakers are on top of the 6th-ranked team in Class 4A, the 4-0 Greenwood Woodmen, by a score of 21-13. It's a game that's got off to a wild and woolly start and has calmed down since. Now your Quakers, 1st and 10, and now Slaton throws deep down the right side for Ritter, and it is just overthrown. Had he made the catch, he might have gone all the way, so it's a brave move by the Quakers when I was expecting them to kneel out the clock. And now, however, if they do not, now Greenwood, since it's 2nd down now with 25.7 seconds to go, Greenwood could use both timeouts to get the ball back. And now Slaton again throwing deep down the right side, same play, and again overthrown. This time the intended receiver was Gavin Jacobs. So now 20.3 seconds to go, and really they don't have much to lose here. There's not much chance of an interception. With what they're doing, so yeah, why not give it a shot at taking that 2-possession lead? Of course, now that the flip side is Greenwood now has a very good shot to get the ball back. Granted, not with much time, but now a handoff there, and it's going to go up just for about 2 or 3 yards. And let's see, do the Woodmen take the timeout? I believe they did. Somebody did anyway. The clock stops with 13.5 seconds to go here in the first half. 8:04 your time of day now. I think this is the longest first half I've commentated all season long. This is the first Plainfield varsity game I've commentated this season. Greenwood, I've commentated Cascade in the first 4 varsity games of the season, and they're an almost exclusively rushing team, and their opponents largely have been as well, so they tend to play short halves. Hope the Cadets are doing well tonight out at Greencastle against the Tiger Cubs. The Cadets have done a good job recovering from their 0-2 start. They've won their last 2 games in fairly impressive fashion. So now 4th and 10, so the Quakers will be punting. So Greenwood will get one more chance on offense. And it's a very deep punt. Nobody back deep and it's going to take a huge Plainfield bounce. It rolls now past the 30, now to past the 25, down to about the 23. And that actually rolled out the clock. So we're at halftime now here at Plainfield. Your Quakers overcome a shaky start. They lead the Greenwood Woodmen at the half by a score of 21-13 here on AudioSportsOnline.com. You're listening to Plainfield Football powered by AudioSportsOnline.com. This broadcast is brought to you by Wicker Construction, Gunnell and Kinnaman LLP, Jimmy John's, KG Enterprises, and Hoosier Tent and Party Rental. For more than 2 decades, Wicker Construction has engaged in building one-of-a-kind homes and remodeling projects while exceeding client expectations, delivering projects with professionalism and integrity. Wicker Construction works closely with you, the client, to understand your lifestyle and construction needs. Jimmy John's offers freaky fast delivery and are last-minute catering specialists. They're located at 2683, that's 2683 East Main Street next to BW3s, and open from 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Saturday. More information can be found at 837-8282, that's 837-8282, or online at jimmyjohns.com. How prepared are you for retirement? When will you be able to retire? How much will you be able to withdraw each year in retirement? What is the likelihood that you'll outlive your savings and investments? What are the financial issues that could deplete your assets? If you can't confidently answer all of these questions, then you might benefit from getting a written financial plan. Having a written financial plan increases your chances of a good retirement by 60%, according to a recent survey by Forbes magazine. However, they also reported that only 24% of people have a written financial plan. At Gunnell and Kinnaman Financial, we will help you plan for your future, and the best time to start is today. By coordinating your tax planning with your retirement planning, we can give the chance you want for a better retirement. Contact us today at 317-203-4433. That's 317-203-4433. Or email us at info@gkfin.com. Gunnell and Kinnaman Financial Accounting Tax and Wealth Manager. But Gunnell and Kinnaman Financial Accounting Tax and Wealth Managers. Hoosier Tent and Party Rental, 101042 Bradford Road in Avon. That's 101042 Bradford Road in Avon. Has been serving Hendricks County for 16 years. They have all your party rental needs. Call them at 317-272-9746 for your 2018 graduation party needs. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're at halftime with your Plainfield Quakers having overcome a shaky start to lead the Greenwood Woodmen by a score of 21-13. It was a game that got off to a wild and woolly start before settling down over the last 2/3 of the second quarter. After Plainfield went 3 and out on their opening possession, Greenwood opened the scoring with 9:30 to go in the first quarter on a 13-yard touchdown rush by quarterback Seth Gallman. The extra point attempt failed. Greenwood led 6-0. Then with 6:59 to go in the first quarter, Ben Slaton struck 69 yards to Gavin Jacobs for a touchdown pass. Landon Williams hit the extra point, putting the Quakers on top 7-6. However, Greenwood struck right back on an 8-yard touchdown rush by Brandon Rosado. Mark Ostermeyer was good on the extra point, putting the Woodmen up 13-7. And then in the second quarter, it was all Plainfield with 10:35 to go. Ben Slaton struck 67 yards to Tyler McCarty for a touchdown. Williams was good on the extra point, making it 14-13. And then with 8:39 to go, not quite 2 minutes later, Slaton struck 35 yards to Cade Ritter for a touchdown, and Williams' extra point brought us to our current score of 21-13. Looking at the individual statistics for Plainfield, Ben Slaton has completed only 7 of 16 passes, but they went for 219 yards and 3 touchdowns, so he's averaging 31 yards per completion. His leading receiver was Gavin Jacobs, who has 2 receptions for 84 yards and a touchdown, followed by Cade Ritter with 3 receptions for 62 yards and a touchdown. Tyler McCarty also has 1 reception for 67 yards and a touchdown, while Derek Keller has 1 reception for 6 yards. On the ground, Dawson Anderson has 12 rushes for 49 yards, and Tavian Gadia has 3 for 10. For Greenwood, Seth Gallman has completed 13 of 80. Seth Gallman has completed 13 of 18 passes for 133 yards. His leading receiver is Luke Raker, who has 4 receptions for 64 yards, followed by R.J. Myers with 4 for 25, Connor Batineau 2 for 24, and Isaiah Drew with 2 for 14. And on the ground, Brandon Rosado leads the way. He has 11 rushes for 53 yards. Seth Gallman, Rosado has 11 rushes for 53 yards and a touchdown. Gallman has 7 rushes for 50 yards and a touchdown. Laker, 3 rushes for 29 yards, and Austin Johnson, 1 rush for 3 yards. Well, at this time, I'm going to take a short break, and I'm going to turn it over to the cameraman, Doug Edens, who has a report on Plainfield as well as the other 5 Hendricks County teams, all of whom are in action tonight. So, Doug, take it away.
All righty. Thank you very much, Lec. Always a pleasure to be here with AudioSportsOnline.com. Halftime, Plainfield High School homecoming 2017 brings back a lot of positive memories for me. Red Pride, if the Plainfield audience is unaware of it, of course, was started by then first-year coach Kermit Davis at Plainfield High School. He retired some years back, U.S. Marine veteran of World War II. In fact, he was at the flag raising on Iwo Jima, that famous photograph that won a Pulitzer many, many years ago. And the year after I graduated, the class of 72, the fall of 1971, was Kermit Davis's first of 2 unbeaten regular season teams. And in my opinion, not because I'm prejudiced, because I have a lot of friends on that team, but I thought they were the best team in Plainfield history because they were undefeated. Nobody came close to them. The most exciting homecoming I ever saw after that was 42-28, the Quakers over Greenwood, the same program tonight, a different coach, of course. But 35-15 was the half, and, of course, tonight the Quakers, after a very rough first period, leading 21-13. So it's always good to be back with AudioSportsOnline.com. And, again, a salute to the class of 72. The most valuable player for that team, my good friend, I know his name, Dave. Pilcher. Yeah, Dave Pilcher. Dave Pilcher? Yeah, okay. Anyway, mid-state results. We're going to take a look from last weekend. Decatur Central, recall Decatur Central over Martinsville, 51-15, as the Hawks' Tyrone Tracy tallied 3 touchdowns on a pair of pass plays and a scoring run. Calvin Thomas had a pair of scoring runs. Quarterback Bryce Jefferson hit 12 of 17 passes for 178 yards against the visiting Artesians. Greenwood, of course, as we mentioned before, put a 51-21 hurt on Mooresville last Friday. Brandon Rosada had 126 yards on 21 carries, a pair of scoring runs. Connor Batno caught 3 scoring passes, and quarterback Seth Gallman, who we saw here tonight, throws 4 touchdown passes while completing 13 of 19, 161 yards against visiting Mooresville. Finally, Whiteland over Franklin, 24-21. Franklin, of course, first-year coach Chris Call. It's his first year at Franklin. He was formerly the coach at Tri-West in the county here. Whiteland's Ryan Hammond gains 156 yards on 22 carries and all 3 Warrior touchdowns, plus a pair of 2-point conversions as the host Warriors overcame a 21-16 halftime deficit for the win. So tonight, in the Mid-State, Greenwood is leading, tied with Decatur Central with identical conference marks of 2-0. Plainfield is second with a perfect slot so far, 1-0. Whiteland is at 1-1 in third. Franklin, Martinsville, and Mooresville. Well, see, Franklin is at 0-1. They've lost the fewest. So they're in fourth place, and then Martinsville and Mooresville are tied for last at 0-2. Offensively, the best scoring team in the Mid-State is Decatur up until tonight, 109 points in conference games. The second most prolific was Greenwood with 78 points. Plainfield with 54 points. Whiteland with 52 points. Mooresville, surprisingly, with 35 points. Martinsville with 22 points. And Franklin with 21 points. Giving up points, Greenwood check that. Franklin is the most prolific. They've only given up 24. But that's, of course, only in one game. Greenwood, in 2 games, have only given up 28 points thus far. And then 14 points for Plainfield. That, again, is the leader, except that it was just one game thus far for the Quakers tonight. Decatur Central's given up 43 points in 2 games. Whiteland has given up 76 points in 2 games. Martinsville has given up 81 points in 2 games. And Mooresville has given up 105 points in 2 games. And for the whole season total, up till tonight, Greenwood leads 4 games, win and no losses, winning with scoring 152 points to 42 given up. They've won their last 4. Decatur Central is 3-1. They've scored 170, by far the best in the Mid-State, but they've given up 83, and they've won their last 3. Plainfield has scored 127. They've given up 124, and they've lost 1 last Friday night to, of course, Roncalli, state-ranked. Whiteland, they've scored 60 points in their 3 regular season games thus far. They've given up 136, and they're on a 1-game winning streak. Martinsville has scored only 50 points in 4 games thus far. They've given up 129 points, and they're on a 6-game losing streak thus far. Mooresville, they have scored 80 points in 4 games and have given up the largest amount, 209 points, and they have lost their last 5 straight. So now the Mid-State for tonight, Decatur Central's at Mooresville, Franklin is at Martinsville, and Whiteland is at Avon. That'll be an interesting game to see how Darren Fisher's team faces up to 6-ranked 6A Class A Avon in that one. And then, of course, next Friday night, the Quakers will be at Decatur Central. That'll be a 7 o'clock kickoff. Martinsville will be at Whiteland. That, again, a 7 o'clock kickoff. Mooresville at Franklin, again, a 7 o'clock kickoff. All 3 conference games. Paoli will be at Greenwood at 7 p.m. That'll be sort of an unknown quantity to see how Greenwood does against outside competition like Paoli. That's a long drive, too. It's about 2.5 hours south of here. I know that my wife and I, we used to go down to her father's lakeside property down at Paoli, and nice drive, nice country, nice people down there. And now let's take a look at Hendricks County results from last Friday night. Avon over Brownsburg, 62-27. Quarterback Cameron Meisner completed 17 of 30 passes, 348 yards, 4 touchdowns. Really is kind of picking up where he's left off, with the exception, of course, of Ben Davis. Samson James added 175 yards on the ground on 17 carries. A trio, count 'em, of touchdowns as the host Orioles shook off the Ben Davis loss, but overmatched Brownsburg for a 45-21 halftime lead and a 62-27 win. Again, the Orioles, they gave up 25 points against Plainfield in that first half, 21 to Brownsburg. So I don't know. I think if I'm Coach Mark Bless, I might try to address that and see if the defense can get off to a fast start. Orioles are ranked 8th in Class 6A. Avon wide receiver Isaac Garando grabbed 7 of Meisner's throws, 222 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not a bad player. On the other side of the county, Cascade won their second, defeating Cloverdale 27-0. The Cadets started out 0-2 on the season. They defeated Brown County the week before 15-8, and then they came back and shut out Cloverdale 27-0 to win their 12th over the Clovers since 2000. Quarterback Dylan Kotkamp completed all 4 passes that he was called to throw, 55 yards, a pair of touchdowns to Alex Sanders. Jason Mantooth piled up 169 yards rushing on just 25 carries. The other 2 cadet touchdowns, Cascade improves 2-2 on the year. Danville over Crawfordsville, 58-7. They are at 4-0, unbeaten. Ben Stevens caught a pair of scoring throws and returned a blocked field goal for a score. Quarterback Toby Highland completes 8 of 10 passing, 212 yards, 3 touchdowns. Chandler Schubert tallied twice more on the ground for the Warriors, I'll say that real fast, Warriors road win. And finally, Western Boone in overtime knocks off Tri-West 35-34. That's Tri-West won their 3rd loss in 4 tries this season. The Bruins rallied from a 28-14 deficit to force the overtime. The Bruins' 2-point conversion failed, giving Western Boone the win. You can't blame them for trying to win the game. Braden Van Slyke, Logan Blake tallied for Tri-West. Tyler Watson caught the, quote, Hail Mary, unquote, touchdown that forced the overtime for Tri-West. And again, Mid-State's schedule for tonight. Decatur Central, as I mentioned before, is at Mooresville. Franklin is at Martinsville. Whiteland is at Avon. The Mid-State for next Friday night again. Decatur Central hosts the Quakers. We'll be down there, 7 o'clock kickoff. Greenwood, I think, will be down there. I'm not sure. Greenwood hosts Paoli. Franklin hosts Mooresville. Whiteland hosts Martinsville. So hopefully Franklin and Mooresville Franklin and Whiteland can, Mooresville and Martinsville can come up with some victories. And, of course, Franklin, you don't want anybody to go 0-9, but we'll see. Hendricks County for tonight, the schedule. Avon hosts Whiteland, Brownsburg hosts Fishers, Cascade visits Greencastle, and Danville visits Tri-West. Now, you might want to check the audiosportsonline.com schedule because I do believe we cover Avon and we also cover Cascade, so in addition to Plainfield. So, and I thought that we also covered Tri-West, but I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll have to check. Anyway, and, of course, Hendricks County for next Friday night. Avon will have a conference game visiting Fishers. Brownsburg, a conference game visiting Westfield. Cascade visits Owen Valley for a conference game. And, of course, the Quakers will be at Decatur Central for a conference game. And Tri-West will host Lebanon for a conference game as well. Overall, this has been a most competitive series since 1970, with the Quakers posting a 26-20 winning record through the tenures of 4 head coaches and a postseason sectional victory over Greenwood. Former coach Kermit Davis was 9-6 against the Woodmen. 2-term coach Chuck Schwanekamp was also 9-6, and he had a sectional win in 2000 when the Quakers went to the 4A state championship and was a runner-up there. 2-term coach Chuck Schwanekamp, he was originally 7-4 during his championship tenure. His first 4 years, Chuck was 2-2 against the Woodmen, but 9-6 overall. With again that 48-26 victory over Greenwood in 2000, the first game of the sectional that the Quakers won en route to their first sectional championship, their first regional championship, their first semi-state championship, and their first championship game appearance. And the AP poll for Class 5, for Week 5. Mid-state teams who ranked: Decatur Central is number 7 in Class 6A. Greenwood is number 6 in Class 4A. Hendricks County teams who are ranked: Avon is number 8 in Class 6A. Danville is number 7 in Class 3A. And, of course, in just a minute, Lec Zorn will be back for all the play-by-play. And, of course, Mike Campbell, as he covered in his pregame, his 12th year, he started out with the same year that Coach Brian Woodard started out. And he didn't fare real well against the Quakers that year. In fact, Woodard's team, I should say, put 61 points on the board against Greenwood that night in a 61-20 victory en route to Coach Woodard's first unbeaten season of his career here at Plainfield. And anyway, Coach Campbell, Mike Campbell, again, he's in his 12th year. He's 61-64 in those 11 years. This is his second year of 4-0, and bested only by his 2012 squad's 8-0 beginning. Campbell is in his 12th year. Last year, Greenwood entered the Plainfield game at home at 4-0 as well, but the Quakers ended that streak with a 28-0 shutout. Campbell is 4-7 against Woodard's team, but his 4 wins have come during the last 6 years. We'll see. Time will tell if he will post a 5th victory tonight. And Campbell's teams have compiled a 12-11 postseason mark. They were sectional champion runners-up the past 2 years. And again, as mentioned before in the pregame, waiting for Lec Zorn to come in. Plainfield, 12th year for Brian Woodard, 71-53, beginning his first year at 10-1. His first unbeaten season, and hopefully there will be many, many more. He's 11-11 in postseason victories and losses, but he's had 5 sectional championship runners-up. So they've struggled as of late. Since 2011, the Quakers have only posted 3 winning records, those 5-4. And they've been 26-37 since that time. But they were sectional runners-up in 2014. Another concern is the Quakers' defensive slow start. How much can they afford that? We'll just have to see. I think that's one thing they've got to work out. They did very, very well against Mooresville, against Tri-West, but Avon just chewed them up in that first half. And Greenwood put 13 here. Roncalli did the same thing with a 24-point second quarter last Friday. So I think defensively, they've got to start getting a pass rush. They've got to start making their adjustments a little bit earlier than that. So I'm ready to turn this over. So for all the second half play-by-play, here's Lec Zorn.
Special thanks to Doug Edens for filling in for me at halftime, giving all that great information about the football scene here in Central Indiana, and especially here in Hendricks County. Got so much to be excited about this season. And not only that, but Doug's commentary gave me time to catch up on all my Words with Friends matches. I was behind by quite a bit, so I had about 12 matches to catch up with. So feels good to get that, caught up with. And so now we can see we got 1:40 left to go here in the halftime clock at Avon. And so let's take a look at what else is going on in Hendricks County tonight. All 5 other Hendricks County teams are in action, and in fact 2 of them against each other. Avon, number 7 in the state in Class 6A, is hosting the Whiteland Warriors, who is going to be Plainfield's opponent on the road 3 weeks from tonight. Fishers is at Brownsburg in another Hoosier Crossroads Conference game. Brownsburg having dropped out of their ranking after their number 15 ranking after their loss to Avon last week, 62-27. Danville continues to climb up the ranks in Class 3A. They're undefeated at 4-0, ranked number 6. They visit cross-county rival Tri-West tonight. The Bruins off to a 1-3 start under new head coach Tyler Bruce, having been hit very hard by graduation. And finally, Cascade, 2-2 on a 2-game winning streak, visits the the Greencastle Tiger Cubs. So best of luck to all the Hendricks County teams tonight. And so we'll try to get some scores for you throughout the evening for those games. So now to start this off the second half here, Plainfield will kick off. So Greenwood will be able to tie with a touchdown and the 2. And it is kicked into the end zone for a touchback. So now the Woodmen go back on offense. Seth Gallman, the quarterback for Greenwood, who is about as apt to rush as he is to pass, got off to a red-hot start. Completed, I believe, his first 8 of his first 9 passes. Also got a touchdown on a rush, but then really didn't do a whole lot in the second quarter. That will probably have to change if they're going to come back to win this game. So now the Woodmen, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, 2 running backs. And now pitch back there. Let's see, I believe it was Rosado who got it again. And I could not tell who got it there, but he took it up for about 4 or 5 yards. Yeah, they're marking it at the 26. That'll bring up, I believe, 2nd and 4. So now Myers lines up to the left. I believe it's Raker to the right. And then 2 running backs. Low snap, but Gallman gets it. Pitches over, and he's got a completion for a first down and a little more. That was, I believe, Isaiah Drew on the reception. So, but let's see what it's going to be holding against the Woodmen, though, so it will be coming back. 11:27 to go now. So 11:27 to go here in the third quarter. The Woodmen on the first possession of the half trying to get back the offensive spark they had on the first 2 possessions. Two receivers to each side now. 1 running back, low snap, but Gallman gets it. Screen pass incomplete off the hands of his intended receiver. So it'll bring up a very big third down for Greenwood. They do not want Plainfield to get the ball back with a chance to take a 2-possession lead. Once that happens, if that happens, then Plainfield's got a pretty good grip on this one. You know, I was worried when Greenfield had the lead in the ball in the first half, what would happen if they got up 2 possessions, because I was concerned Plainfield wouldn't be able to slow down the Greenwood offense enough. And now a pass is high that's completed, but it's going to be short of the first down by about 5 yards. So 11:09 to go, and it looks like the Woodmen are going to punt here. So let's see where the apparently they decided, I guess he didn't catch it in bounds because they're saying 4th and 16 now. So now 1 man back to receive the punt for the Quakers. He's standing at the Greenwood 48. It's a high punt. It's Burden, takes it at the 49, up to the 45. Goes to his right, then back to the center, and he's brought down at about the 42 or 43. So Plainfield will start over in great field position with 10:58 to go. If they get any score, it'll be a 2-possession game, and they will have a firm grip on this one. Let's look at what else is going on with the Hendricks County teams. So far, a couple of weeks ago, all 6 of them won. It's the first time I ever remember that happening in my 6 years of commentating here for Audio Sports Online, XRB Radio, as well as WYRZ. We cover primarily Hendricks County teams. So now 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Anderson, the running back, gets it on the handoff, and he breaks through for about 5 up the middle. So good start to the right for the Quakers. Avon all over Whiteland in the second quarter, 25-0. So the Orioles look like they're about to move to 4-1 and possibly move into the top 5 there in Class 6A. Another handoff to Anderson. This time he takes it over to the right, drags the receiver a couple of yards, and gets up about 3 yards. It's going to be about 3rd and 2 now. 10:31 to go and counting here in the third quarter. Plainfield leading 21-13. And another Hendricks County team in the league, Brownsburg over Fishers at the half, 28-13. Now another handoff to Anderson, and he's got the first down and a couple more. At the half, a very low-scoring affair with another Hendricks County team involved. Greencastle leading Cascade 3-0. Hopefully the Cadets will come back to win that one. I thought they were gonna have a fair shot to win that one, but anyway, Gadia gets it. He takes it up for about 3, and we got multiple flags here. But yeah, Cascade, they got blown out in the first 2 games, but they were against 2 Class 3A powers. Danville, who's currently ranked number 6th in that class, and then Monrovia, who won the Class 2A championship a couple of years ago and then was forced to move up. So it's going to be a personal foul on Greenwood, so that will be an automatic first down for the Quakers. And let's see what else. I'm looking. Couple of future opponents for the Quakers. Martinsville leads Franklin 21-7 in the second quarter. Both teams entering that game at 0-4. So now 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. And now we've got Slaton looking to the sideline for instructions again. 9:47 to go. The Quakers. So now Slaton, and he throws and incomplete. So that'll bring up 2nd and 10. Ball is on the 15. So 2nd and 8 now. Second and 8 now. And now Slaton fakes it, and he takes it himself, and he's got the touchdown. No, I'm sorry, that was Dawson Anderson on a direct snap. So Dawson Anderson had a 50-yard rush on a direct snap that was called back in the first half. However, that one will count, and there's that 2-possession lead I talked about, the first 2-possession lead of the game for either team. So 27-13 Quakers with the conversion pending, and the conversion is up and good. So your Quakers now look like they've got a good grip on this one. They don't have it clinched, but they clearly have the momentum. They lead the Greenwood Woodmen by a score of 28-13 here on audiosportsonline.com. My name is Lec Zorn. I'm being helped out by Doug Edens, who also gave us some halftime commentary, catching us up with what's been going on here in Hendricks County. There's just a whole lot this season. But anyway, I was saying Martinsville leads Franklin 21-7 in the second. Both of those are Mid-State Conference teams that entered that game with a record of 0-4. And they are our last two regular season opponents. Franklin will be here 2 weeks from tonight, and then Martinsville 4 weeks from tonight as we close out the regular season on our senior day. And then let's see if I can get a score on with the Tri-West. Tri-West. Oh, yeah, no score yet with Danville and Tri-West. No score reporting. So, 9:30 to go here in the third quarter. Plainfield has the first 2 possession lead of the game. Now kicks deep, return, and Greenfield's got a big return here, and he could go all the way. Yes, 30-25. He got a flag here. It might be coming back, but let's see. Let's see. We're waiting to see. Greenwood is celebrating now. The fans are celebrating. The cheerleaders are celebrating, but the players look a little bit tentative. The officials are deliberating now. The 3 officials are standing together now in a conference. And still no signal yet. Now, personal foul. So I believe it's a personal foul against both teams. So so Greenwood will take over. Let's see where they're going to stop. It's going to be at the Greenwood 47. So at least the first 40 yards or so of the return will count. So it's not a total disaster, not a total loss for the Woodmen. And I remember the first time I ever saw Greenwood football in person. It was 30 years ago when I was a junior in high school down at Madison. It's hard to believe that it was in the sectional, the first game of the sectional. Greenwood beat us. Just about everybody beats Madison in football, unfortunately. But yeah, it's surprising that we ended up in the same sectional with Greenwood because we're pretty far away for that. But, we did that year. So now... So Greenwood takes over 1st and 10 at their own 47, 9:16 to go. They trail by 15. It's a 21-0 run by the Quakers. 8:42 your time of day. It looks like we're not going to be getting out of here before 9:30. So now Gallman fakes the handoff. Now he pitches back to Raker, who gets about 7 out of it. Past the 50 up to about the 46. 9:05 to go and counting. So now Raker and one other receiver lined up to the left, and we got another receiver to the right. Rosado, the running back. Gallman in shotgun. Now Rosado takes off. And screen pass, and it is intercepted, and he could go all the way. One man to beat. Yes, he's going all the way. Touchdown Quakers on an interception return. And Plainfield has broken this game open. They got a 3-touchdown lead here. 8:27 to go in the third quarter. Excellent timing there. I could not tell who got it by the Quakers, but it will count. That goes a long way toward putting this one away for us. Yeah, it was just perfect timing there on the play. That's only Gallman's second interception of the year versus 9 touchdowns. And now the conversion whistled dead here. So 34-13. 34-13 with the conversion pending. And I'll tell you, that means that Plainfield has scored now 4 touchdowns in just a little over 14 minutes. So they've come a heck of a long way since they were down 13-7, and I was afraid of them going down by 2 possessions. Now they're up by 3. Heck of a turnaround tonight. So there's the kick is good and the penalties declined. So 35-13 your score. Williams, 4 for 4 on extra points coming into tonight. He's 5 for 5 tonight. The Quakers tried a few guys at kicker this year, and it just feels very odd for me. This is my 6th season commentating Plainfield games. I've done, I've done other teams too, but now the extra. Oh, they're good. No, they're doing a re-kick on the extra point, and now it's good. I thought the PA announcer had said that the kick was good before the penalty had been declined, but anyway, so now it's they've put it on the scoreboard. It's 35-13 Plainfield now. But yeah, this is my 63rd varsity game as a commentator. I've commentated 23 Plainfield games, more than any other school, and the Quakers are 11-11 in those games. So it looks like they're going to move. With this game, they're going to move above 500 with me at the mic. I'm not suggesting I have anything to do with whether they win or lose, but it is a great joy for me to be out here. Plainfield is my second home, and the staff here has always been so good to me, and I hope to someday get an honorary diploma from the school. Of course, and it's appropriate, my alma mater, Madison, has red and white uniforms, as does Plainfield. In fact, when I was here tonight, I talked for about 10 minutes to one of my former classmates, Greg Weinger, whose son, Brayton, plays for the he plays for the Quakers. He's a senior cornerback, also a point guard for the basketball team. And Greg has a younger son who plays for. And now the Quakers recover. Yes, yes. Oh, it took a Plainfield bounce. And the Woodmen seemed to forget that it was a kickoff, not a punt. So once it went 10 yards, it was a live ball. Now the Quakers will take over with a chance to take a 4-possession lead. So everything falling apart for the Woodmen now. But what I was about to say, Brayton's younger brother, Greg's younger son, is on the freshman team, although he's out with a concussion right now. So we wish him a quick and speedy recovery. A speedy and full recovery, excuse me. I also want to wish my best to Greg's parents, Phil and Ann Weinger down in Florida, who are recovering from that hurricane. So it's, Greg's dad and my dad were actually real estate partners in the late 70s, and Greg's mom was my brother's first grade teacher. So a lot of ties between the two families there. So anyway, everything that can go right has gone right for the Quakers in about the last 14 minutes here after their rough start, and they appear to be on their way to their 3rd victory of the season. So hopefully they'll get this win and go home, get some rest tonight, and start working early tomorrow morning for what should be a much tougher opponent next week, Decatur Central. That will be played there at Decatur Central on the southwest side of Indianapolis, just 8 miles from here. I hope you all will get out for that one. I'll be talking more about that in the post-game show. The official's having a long deliberation here. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, yeah, there's a Greenwood play. Okay, I see there's a Greenwood player on the near sideline he was lying on the ground. He was obscured by the Plainfield player, so I did not realize that. So I apologize for that oversight here. Okay, that's Luke Raker. He's walking away. He's groggy, but he's walking on his own power, which is good to see. But anyway, I've seen that a couple of times before in my commentary career, where there was like a mid-range kickoff, and it bounced, and the receiving team mentally seemed to forget that it was a kickoff and interpret it as a punt, and then the kicking team grabbed it, and and it's their ball in that case. I mean, it doesn't have to be an onside kick to be recovered by the kicking team. It just has to go 10 yards. So now we got Ritter and Jacobs lined up to the left, and another receiver to the right. Anderson, the running back, fake the head off to Anderson now. Slaton, screen pass, and it's complete to Anderson for a gain of about 6 or 7. Plainfield recovered it on the 21. They're marking it at the 13 or 14 here. So it'll be 2nd and short, 8:20 to go here in the... Oh, they have a better spot than I thought, 2nd and 1, so 8:20 to go now. Hand off to Anderson. He's, I believe, got the first and maybe 1 or 2 more. We'll see what kind of spot he gets. Yeah, he does have the first. 8:15 to go now with the clock stops to move the chains. So it will be 1st and goal for the Quakers. So now 2 receivers to each side. Gadia in there at running back. Fakes the handoff to Gadia. Slaton, screen pass, and it is incomplete. It was intended for Ryan Kurt. He is a junior. Does not have any receptions so far tonight. So 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Gadia, the running back. Slaton in shotgun. And now I pass up the middle. It is incomplete. There was a little bit of contact with the Greenwood receiver, but I think it was incidental contact, and thus no pass interference penalty. So 3rd and goal at the 10 now for the Quakers. 2 receivers to each side now. Gadia, the running back. Slaton in shotgun. No, excuse me. Anderson is back in there at running back now after Gadia had replaced him for the last few plays. So now Slaton takes a snap, throws into the end zone, and he's got a man open. Did he get it? Yes! Touchdown! So Plainfield now with a 4-possession lead here. Wow. So the Quakers now, they look like they're, playing like they want to move into the rankings next week, and they very well might after the way they're dismantling. Now a high snap. The kick, extra point by Williams up is good. We got a flag, though. So 41-13 with the holding against Plainfield, so I guess they're going to do a re-kick. Major League Baseball action, Cincinnati leading Pittsburgh 4-1 in the bottom of the 5th. Well, it's I'm a Reds fan from southeastern Indiana. I hope I'll live to see the Reds win another World Series. It's only been 27 years. That's only a fourth as long as the time, exactly a fourth as long as the wait that the Chicago Cubs fans had of 108 years. So now the extra point from 10 yards back is good. So Plainfield looks like they've solved their kicking woes now, as Williams is 6 for 6 tonight. Again, it feels very strange. I was starting to say earlier, this is my 23rd Plainfield game over 6 seasons, 6 consecutive seasons. This is the first season in which they have not had a Hagee as the kicker. In fact, in all the previous Plainfield games I commentated, I only commentated one in which a Hagee did not play. That was that very painful first-round sectional loss to Lebanon back in 2013. And it's a very rare example of a game that I say that the team that lost did so because their kicker was injured. Because there were 2 times in that game when Plainfield was easily in Morgan Hagee's field goal range, but didn't have a kicker who could, since he was out with an injury, they didn't have a kicker who could, get the job done, and they ended up turning it over on downs. So, I should have won that one. That team was a legitimate contender for the Class 4A state championship. I think they would have had a good shot at it had Hagee been healthy and had Josh Miller been healthy, their star running back now up at Ball State, as is Morgan Hagee. So now, kick returned up to about the 5. I'm sorry, kick returned by number 5 up to almost the 30. That was Isaiah Drew. Or I'm sorry, Oliver Rao, number 6. Sorry about that. Well, Coach Brian Woodard of Plainfield is a great developer of talent. He currently has 9 players playing college ball and 1 in the NFL, James Hurst with the Baltimore Ravens. And now Rosado gets a breakthrough and picks up about 15 yards or so. The Woodmen are going to have to get something going. I would imagine, though, that Plainfield at this point, all they're going to try to do is take away the big play. They'll let, Greenwood have, all the 5, 6, 7-yard gains they want as long as they stay in bounds, keep the clock moving. So now Gallman fakes the handoff. Now it pitches back to Rosado again, but he's going to be, he ended up picking up 3 or 4. And he hit his potential tackler pretty hard, perhaps showing a lot of frustration there with his team now down 42-13, having given up the last 35 points in just a little over a quarter's worth of action. So now another rush, and this time they do have the first down. Greenwood is not since the first half, since the first quarter when they were moving the chains at will, they really haven't moved the ball particularly well, though they are on this drive. But like I said, I think now Plainfield is just trying to take away the big play. Because they know barring a major collapse, this one's theirs, only a little over a quarter and a half to play now. So now Gallman, screen pass complete, but it's only going to be for about 3 or 4 yards there over on the right side. So it'll be at the second down now at the Plainfield 45. So they're giving him credit with no gain. I thought he got at least a couple. But so now one receiver at each side, 2 running backs. Low snap. McGallman gets it, dodges a tackle, but he's crunched for a sack. He got about there. At least 3 Quakers got him there, maybe 4. So it's going to be 3rd and long for the Woodmen. And everything just coming apart at the seams for Greenwood now here in this third quarter. It's just been a disaster. Last year they entered this game 4-0, ranked number 9 in Class 4A, and were stopped dead in their tracks at home by Plainfield 28-0. Tonight they're not getting shut out, but they lost last year by 28 in this game. Now they're losing by 29, so history largely repeating itself. So now Gallman throws deep down the left side for Myers, and it is just overthrown. Actually, had Myers stuck his arms out, he might have had a shot at it. It would have been close. So that'll be a 4th and long, 4th and 14. 5:39 to go. I think the Woodmen are going to punt. So now, it's a blocked punt. It's a live ball. It's and it's loose. Let's see who's got it. Either way, it's going to be Plainfield's ball inside the Greenwood 30. Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any worse for the Woodmen, they're looking down the cannon now at a possible 5-possession deficit here. 5:30 to go here in the third quarter. Well, the Greenwood Woodmen don't know what hit them. So, 2 receivers to the right now, 1 to the left. Handoff now to Anderson. They're ready for him. He's brought down possibly for a loss. So it's second. That'll be about 2nd and 10 at the 27. I think they're going to say he just got back to the line of scrimmage. 5:10 to go now and counting. 9 o'clock your time of day, so it looks like this game is going to get over well past 9:30. Three receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Slaton drops back, and he breaks out of a sack, and then he gets out of bounds on the left side after picking up about 3 yards. So nice job there by Slaton picking up a few yards when he very nearly was brought down for a loss. Slaton not particularly known for his rushing. So now a handoff there, and he's going to be close to the first down. That was Dawson Anderson. I think he does. Yes, he does have the first down. 4:38 to go. In fact, according to my stat sheet, I'm showing Slaton without any rushes this season, so that's a surprise. Figured he'd at least have a couple of kneel downs or something. 4:30 to go now. 2 receivers. Okay, Tavian Gadia back in there. Now we've got Mason Burgess lined up to the right. 3 receivers to the left. Now screen pass to Burgess. He's got the catch inside the 10. Breaks 3, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown. Woodman grabbed him by the leg, but Burgess dragged him all the way into the end zone, and the receiver pounded his fist on the turf in agony, knowing he had a chance to make the stop there. So now 6 touchdowns in just a quarter and a half of action for your Quakers. Having a breakthrough game tonight, and the extra point is up and good, and Williams is 7 for 7 on the game. So 6 consecutive, 6 unanswered touchdowns by the Quakers since they trailed 13-7. They now lead 49-13. I'll tell you, the only time I previously commentated any event between Plainfield and Greenwood is one that I will never forget. It's one of the most humorous incidents so far in my commentary career. It was the JV game between these 2 teams last year at Plainfield, and the game started late because Greenwood arrived late, and I never got the exact story, but what I theorized happened since Greenwood showed up with only 18 players and they're a very full program. I assumed they had 2 busloads of players, and only one of them managed to get here. I guess they must have gotten trapped either on US 31 or on I-65 or I-465, which I know from experience can be very, very, very congested. So, and there must have been something particularly bad, like an accident that day. So now the kickoff goes. Did it go out of bounds? I couldn't tell. It was really close. If it did, it was very close to the pylon. Nevertheless, your Quakers on their way to their third victory of the season. They lead 49-13. They have exploded in the last quarter and a half after a shaky start. They've scored in this quarter on a kickoff return for a touchdown, and then on a kickoff in which Greenwood basically forgot that it was a kickoff, not a punt, and then that led to an easy Quakers score. So now Greenwood trying to at least, make something positive out of the rest of the game. Pitch back there by back to Rosado, who picks up about 6 or 7. 4:05 to go now. One thing Gallman does a lot is with I know we got a Quakers player injured here. Hopefully there's nothing serious. He is moving both his arms and his legs. I cannot tell who it is from my vantage point. But one thing that Gallman does a lot for Greenwood is he takes the snap and then, he'll fake the handoff to one receiver and then lateral back to to one running back and then lateral back to the other. But so far has not produced a lot of big gains, although that was one of the better ones. Well, I'll tell you, my buddy J.P. Sinclair, with whom I commentated several Quakers games over back in 2014 and 2015, he got me into the practice of awarding game balls, and I still forget to do it sometimes. But for this game today, I guess Slaton would, be the most likely candidate. Whenever in doubt, it's usually pretty safe to go with the quarterback. But it's really hard to pick because, this has been such a great performance from top to bottom, for about the last 2 quarters worth of action. So let's see the injured player now walking off the field. It's Colin Dorsett. He is a junior for the Quakers. Not a big guy at 5'8", 150. I'm just a little bigger than that myself. I sure wouldn't want to get hit, by some of these guys. So now I got a first down by Rosado, and he goes past the 50 up to about the 45. One of the few probably one of the few double-digit gains for Greenwood since the first quarter. They moved very well. They made it look easy their first 2 possessions, and then something clicked for Plainfield after that, and it's been all Quakers the rest of the way. So 1st and 10 now for the Woodmen at the Plainfield 44. Myers lines up to the left, Raker to the right. Rosado and one other running back there in the backfield. Gallman takes the snap. He gives it, could not tell who it is. That was number 35 for the Woodmen. I don't think he's carried tonight. That is Nick Willem. He is a junior. 3:20 to go now. 49-13, Plainfield leading. So Myers again to the left. Raker to the right. Now handoff there to Willem again. And he's up for... And we got a flag here after a short gain there by Willem. So 4 touchdowns here in the third quarter by the Quakers to break this game open. It's hard to believe it was a one-possession game at the half. And Greenwood got the ball first to start off the half, so had they scored a touchdown in the 2, it's going to be a personal foul against Greenwood. But had Greenwood scored a touchdown in the 2-point conversion on the first possession of the third half, they would have tied it. But instead, it's just been all Plainfield. So, they started usually the stats crew for Plainfield gives me an update at the end of every quarter and right after every score. But I have not, I guess they're getting kind of overwhelmed now with all the fast scoring. I have not gotten one for the last 3 scores. Okay, they did a measurement, and it is a first down for the Woodmen. So, you know, and no, I tremendously appreciate the stat crew. You know, they are so helpful, and also Coach Brian Woodard. Yeah, every time I email him and ask for the stats, he always responds. Sometimes literally within about 5 seconds. He is super fast. It makes my job so much easier. And you know, most of the time, for whoever I'm playing, I can get the stats off maxpreps.com, a high school sports website. Most Indiana high school teams, at least that I've commentated, upload their stats there. But I get my stats direct from Brian because the Plainfield Stats crew goes the extra mile and gets a lot of cool stuff that doesn't show up in the ordinary stat sheet. So now handoff to Willem again, and he picks up about 2. And you see, my biggest broadcast influence, even though he's not known as a sports commentator, was Casey Kasem. And I think back to when I listened to American Top 40 as a kid in the 80s. It wasn't particularly because of the songs they played on there, because those were songs I was hearing on the radio during the week, but it was because of all the cool information that he gave. So I try to give a lot of cool information like that in these sports broadcasts. So now Gallman, and he throws it away, nearly intercepted there on the right side of the field, so it'll bring up 3rd and long for the Woodmen. 2:17 to go in the third quarter. The Woodmen, Plainfield scored the last 42 points of the game, with the Woodmen trying to stop that streak and get at least a couple of scores here before they head back home. These two teams will play JV tomorrow at tomorrow morning at Greenwood, and then the freshman teams will play Monday evening here at Plainfield. I will be bringing you that one here on audiosportsonline.com. So now Gallman fakes a pass. He takes it himself for one of the few times tonight. Gets close to the first. He did have a touchdown on a rush in the first quarter to open the scoring, in fact. Seems like a long time ago now. So it'll bring up 4th and short with 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Got a tremendous crowd here. I'm so thankful that we've had great weather so far, with the exception of 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago I was actually, I don't know if it was that bad for the Plainfield-Mooresville game, but I was down at Brown County for the Cascade game down in Nashville, and it really ruined, you know, attendance-wise. They only had about 500 people for the whole game, and now a punt there, and it's bounces out of bounds at about the 15, so Plainfield will be taken over. They're going to be taken over at their own 17. But, yeah, that was a real disappointment because Nashville is one of my favorite towns in Indiana to visit. It's an awesome tourist town, especially that historic downtown district. And the school's in that district, by the way. So I showed up early, and I just wanted to, you know, walk up and down the streets for an hour and a half before I went over to the game. But it was raining the whole time, so I just headed straight for the press box. I only had about 500 people showed up for their opener, and with the home team having a 2-0 record coming in. So I was really disappointed in that. So now 2 receivers to each side. And now handoff there. Brought up to about 3 yards there by Gadia. 1:18 to go now in the third quarter. I expect Plainfield will probably be very conservative the rest of the way on offense. A minute to go now in the quarter. 9:13 your time of day. So now Gadia gets it, and he's hit immediately, and he might have gotten forward progress up for 1 yard. 40 seconds and counting now in the quarter. Expect, you know, we'll probably get to a lot of backups here in the fourth quarter. $18 seconds now. This will probably be the last play of the quarter. 3rd and 6 now for the Quakers. Pitch back to Gadia. He takes it over to the right side. He's got a little bit of room, spins around, gets up to about the 25. So it'll be short of the first down. And that's the end of the quarter. So your Quakers 12 minutes away from victory. They explode for 28 points here in the third quarter to break the game open, and they lead the Greenwood Woodmen by a score of 49-13 here on AudioSportsOnline.com. You're listening to Plainfield Football, powered by AudioSportsOnline.com. This broadcast is brought to you by Wicker Construction, Gunnell and Kinnaman LLP, Jimmy John's, KJ Enterprises, and Hoosier Tent and Party Rental. For more than 2 decades, Wicker Construction has engaged in building one-of-a-kind homes and remodeling projects while exceeding client expectations, delivering projects with professionalism and integrity. Wicker Construction works closely with you, the client, to understand your lifestyle and construction needs. Jimmy John's offers freaky fast delivery and are last-minute catering specialists. They're located at 2683, that's 2683 East Main Street in Avon. That's 2683 East Main Street next to BW3s. 2683 East Main Street next to BW3s, and open from 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Saturday. More information can be found at 837-8282, 837-8282, or online at jimmyjohns.com. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're about to start the fourth quarter with your Plainfield Quakers about to punt. However, they are on their way to an easy victory, 49-13 over the Greenwood Woodmen. It's a high punt, and it bounces and actually rolls up to I think it's going to rolls out of bounds at about the 42. So anyway, it was 21-13 at the half. A very tight game before basically Greenwood just collapsed. As Plainfield rushed as Plainfield scored 4 touchdowns in a span of 5 minutes and 17 seconds. So far, Ben Slaton, he's only completed 10 of 22 passes, but for 250 yards and 5 touchdowns. It's really been a fantastic team effort now. Now the Woodmen finally get a big offensive play. That was Rosado there, who breaks 3 for about 20 yards. 11:42 to go. The Woodmen moved the ball very well on their first 2 possessions of the game, scoring a touchdown each time. They led 6-0 and 13-7 before Plainfield scored 42 unanswered points. So now Myers to the left, Raker to the right. Two running backs. Now they give it there to, he's going to be close to another first down. Whoever that is, okay, that is Oliver Rao. His first rush of the game. They give him credit for 9 on that one. So Greenwood finally starting to get back on their offensive stride, but it's too little too late to save this one. Now, hand off there to Rosado. He's got the first down and more, and he stays on his feet, gets inside the 20. First time that the Woodmen have been inside the red zone here in the second half. They got there late in the second quarter and then turned it over on downs at the 2. So 1st and 10 at the 18 for the Woodmen. 1 receiver at each side. Now pitch back to Rao. He's got some room on the left side. He finds a hole, and he could get he's got the first down, and he's out of bounds, I think, inside the 5. 10:36 to go. So, let's see. 1st and goal now for the Woodmen at the 7. And the play is whistled dead here with 10:35 to go. Plainfield on top, 49-13. going to be offsides against the Quakers, so that'll be half the distance to the goal. So that'll move the Woodmen inside the 5. So now, and the handoff, and I think they've got a touchdown here. Yes. So the Woodmen finally break a 42-point drought. Could not tell who made it in across the goal line, but nevertheless, at 10:30 to go, it's now 49-19 with the conversion pending. So now Ostermeyer. Good German name there, Ostermeyer on the extra point. It is up, and it is good. 49-20 your score now. Plainfield on top. So I am a German American, as well as a Swedish American and Irish American, and so any name with any of those nationalities I can pick out pretty easily. I'm actually working at Irish Fest this weekend downtown. Hope you all will get out for that one. So come by, and I'll be the guy there at the booth. I'll probably be selling the celebrating the tickets, selling the tickets as I did last year, the food and drink tickets. I'll be wearing my leprechaun hat and my Ireland soccer jersey. I love that they have Irish Fest the time of year they do here in the Indianapolis area, because it means basically we get St. Patrick's Day every 6 months instead of just once a year, because they have it's always right around 6 months after St. Patrick's Day. So now set to kick off for the Woodmen. Goes deep. It's taken inside the 10, brought up to the 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and he could go all the way. Yes! Yes! He's going all the way for the touchdown. Oh, my God. Almost 95 yards there. That was Gage Jacobs. He is a 5'5", 145-pound junior. He looked like he was going to be brought down around the 25, but he kept on finding holes and weaving his way around defenders, breaking tackles, and he took it all the way in. 55-20 with the conversion pending. So, just when it looked like Greenwood might make the score, look somewhat respectable, if they got a couple more scores later, that Plainfield gets it on the ensuing kickoff. And the kick is up and good. So 8 for 8 tonight on extra points for Landon Williams. Well, enjoy it, because not all games are this easy. But it feels good tonight, especially recovering from that 45-20 loss down at Roncalli last week. A tough but understandable loss. I mean, you look at the two teams that Plainfield's lost to this year. Avon, ranked number they're not only a Class 6A team, but they're ranked number 7 in Class 6A. Will probably be higher this week, next week after what looks like an easy win over Whiteland tonight. And then Roncalli, 9-time state champion, and they're ranked number 1 in Plainfield's class. So So I'm really glad that this is only Plainfield's second home game of the season. I'm really glad we got such great weather for it. Often by the time you get to week 5, it's getting a little bit chilly. So yeah, I've gotten to the point. I was, for a long time, I was saying thank you every time I got a new stat sheet. But so now I've got the thumb. I just do a wave or thumbs up sign, and the guy knows I appreciate it. The stats guy here for Plainfield. So I just don't want to keep saying thank you, and then you people on the who are listening to me being thrown off by it and wondering who I'm talking to. So 10:16 to go. It's a 56-20 Plainfield lead. It's fielded on a bounce there around the 12, right up to the 20, 25, 30, and he gets up to about the 34 there. And that was Gage Jacobs' second touchdown, the kickoff return for a touchdown. That was Gage Jacobs' second kickoff return for a touchdown this season. First one was from 92, that one 93. So I think there's going to be sort of a Devin Hester effect on Jacobs the rest of the season. Teams are just not going to be kicking deep to the Quakers. I know Dante Keys had a touchdown, had a 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown in that sectional championship game lost to Zionsville last season. And now, nice run there, about 16 yards up to the 50. I believe that was Willem again for the Woodmen. Yes, Nick Willem, who's carried a lot more here in the second half tonight. So this is a time, and now handoff again to Willem, and he's almost right down the line of scrimmage, but he goes over to his left now back to the center and gets about 5 yards. So 9:44 to go, so it'll bring up second and about 4. But, you know, it's never pleasant to lose a game like this, but when you have this much time left, nearly a full quarter to work with, the thing to do when the game's out of reach like this, try some different things, see what works, you know. Get some game action to some guys who normally don't get it and see how they do, and, you know, maybe get some ideas about what to do, you know, next time. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, 3 years ago to be exact, when my buddy J.P. Sinclair and I were commentating Plainfield at Roncalli, and Willem gets it, and he's got the first down and more over the left side. He breaks through past the 30, gets up to about the 25, so that's a really nice gain there by Willem, who's starting to do some good things here late in the game. And, you know, might earn himself some more action the rest of the season. Coming into tonight, Willem had 39 rushes for 183 yards, so 4.7 yards a carry. So he's played fairly well, but, you know, they didn't go to him. I think they didn't go to him at all in the first half. So, you know, maybe he'll be getting some more plays the rest of the way. So now Gullman drops the snap but picks it up. He takes it himself. He's got inside the 20, inside the 15, spins around, gets inside the 10. So he's got another first down. So the Woodmen trying to get at least one more score here tonight. Still 8:35 to go, 9:27 your time of day. So we'll probably be on the air past 10 o'clock at the rate we're going. So 2 receivers to each side now, 2 running backs. And now drops the snap again, but he picks it up and takes it, and he could have the touchdown. He got up to about the 5. So good coverage after, you know, a couple of Plainfield defenders noticed the hole and went over to fill it. So second and goal at the 5 now. Looks like they have Justin. Looks like they have Justin Van Dyke in at quarterback now instead of Seth Gallman. So now handoff there to Willem, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown. So 2 touchdowns here in the quarter by the Woodmen. Their first touchdown, their first scores at all since the first quarter. So it's 56-26 with the conversion pending. So Ostermeyer on the extra point, up and good. 7:35 to go in the game now. Yeah, I think all of the previous games that I've covered this year have been over by this time of day, 9:29, I think. Pitch black sky now. And so 7:35 to go, yeah. And so Reds lead the Pirates 4-1 at the end of the sixth. So, what can you say? This is just one of those games. You know, Plainfield struggled for a quarter, and then bang. Everything came together. Yeah, Greg Vinger and I just waved to each other. He's obviously very content about the way things are going now. Certainly proud of his son. And now onside kick, but it is... Oh, and it's a live ball. I think... Well, I couldn't tell who got it. It wasn't a very good onside kick. It went about 20 yards, which is a lot further than you want it to go. It only needs to go 10. But, it was kicked so fast that, it was hard to catch, and there was a bounce in the air off the hands of the receiver, and it was a loose ball, but I think the Quakers got it. But I'll tell you, though, every time I go to a Quakers game, I always see Greg there, and it's so great there that, it's so great that he's there supporting his son, and that's what we need in society, a lot more participation of fathers in the lives of their children. I wish every kid's father was there, I mean, this would be a much better country right now. So hats off to Greg, as well as all the other fathers who show up to support their kids. So now a handoff up the middle for about 3 yards there. I believe it was Gadia. No, it's got a new guy in there. Okay, so now we have Dalton in at quarterback. So, yeah, not surprised that we've seen the last of the Quaker. I guess we've seen the last of the Quaker starters here. 6:51 to go and counting. Plainfield with 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, 1 running back. Now we've got our rush over on the left side, and he's dragging a few guys with him, and he might have dragged his way to the first down. So, who was that? That was Ricky Alsum, who's done some good things for JV this season. Now getting a little varsity action tonight. He's a sophomore, 5'8", 190. Coach Woodard always, seems to pull another running back out of his hat. So, obviously, after last year when Anderson went out for those 4 games with mononucleosis, Gadia, who was then a sophomore, stepped up, rushed very well. And now, after Gadia is gone in a couple of years, then, they'll have Alsum. And now Alsum gets it again, and this time he gets about 2 or 3, 6:07 to go. But like I was saying, though, when you have several minutes to play and the game's out of reach, you just got to try different guys, different things, see what works. Like I remember when Plainfield was getting blown out by Roncalli in that severely injury-plagued 2014 season, in a game right here at Plainfield that I was calling with J.P. Sinclair, they actually pulled out a guy named Dylan Foster, who was a junior, wasn't even on the roster. He hadn't played at all that season. He had played the season before, then decided not to go out for the team, then changed his mind around the time the regular season started. They finally got him there in the game in week 4. And I think he was wearing number 27 or 28. And now Alsum breaks through for about 15 yards inside the 35. So Ricky Alsum showing great promise for the future here. 5:26 to go. But, yeah, and I remember there were like 3 or 4 people simultaneously was yelling whatever Foster's number was, like who's number 27, who's number 28. And then JP actually, I think he went on the roof and asked one of the assistant coaches and got the information that it was Dylan Foster. But the point is, even though the game was out of reach, Foster, I think he went 10 for 57 that night. And then handoff there to different running back this time. And he gets, he breaks 3 or 4 tackles, gets close to the first down. He might have it. That was Brandon Denbrook. He's a 5'4", 125-pound junior. Boy, I'll tell you, Plainfield, they have some small guys who are able to get the job done. Gady is 5'4". The guy who just carried the ball. Denbrook is 5'4". Jacobs got the kickoff return for a touchdown, 5'5". Gee, I'm 5'10". I guess I missed my calling. I should have played football. I thought it was sport more for big guys, but I guess not for Plainfield. So now fakes the handoff, and he picks it up, and he's got some room on the right side. He's got the first down and more inside the 10, and he I think he might have made it inside the 5. I couldn't tell where he went out of bounds. So the quarterback fumbled it and then picked it up and got a good run after it with 4:13 to go, so the Quakers could pad onto their lead here. And I'm a firm believer that when your second unit gets into the game, let them try to score. It's good experience for them. Yeah, Doug Edens, the camera guy, just said you have to believe that was practice. Right now we have Nate Dalton in at quarterback. He's a 5'7", 130-pound sophomore. So a lot of undersized guys getting the job done for the Quakers tonight. First and goal at the 4 now. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. High snap. Gets it over to, and he's brought down for a loss there. They were ready for him that time. That was Denbrook again, 4:05 to go. So it'll be second and goal now at the 5. A loss of about 1 there. But the point is, that game was already out of reach by the time Dylan Foster got in that night 3 years ago. But, they built a strong foundation. He ended up having, over 200 yards in the sectional victory against Northview that year out on Halloween night in the light snow. And then had over 1,000 yards as a senior. So, and now Denbrook gets it, and he takes it over to the right side, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown, but we got a flag, so let's see if it'll count or not. So, so it's holding against Plainfield, so it will be coming back. But even in a game when you're getting blown out, sometimes you'll discover a diamond in the rough, and some guy who ends up, playing well later in the game and ends up, doing a lot of good things for you in future games. Like I said, Foster, he made his debut while Plainfield was getting blown out against Roncalli, but then, ended up rushing for over 1,000 yards as a senior. And I don't think he's not on this list of former Quakers who are playing, collegiately. But, he was a good high school player. Hope he's doing well wherever he is. So now a handoff to Denbrook at the 15, and he gets up for maybe 2, so it'll be 3rd and long there for the Quakers. But, yeah, according to this list, 9 Quakers currently in college ball, including 5 guys who graduated last year, so that was a heck of a senior class. They had a chance to win that sectional, fell on the last play to Zionsville, 33-28, in a very tense game. 3rd and goal at the 13 now. 2 receivers to each side. Dalton gets it. Now he hands off to Denbrook, who takes it inside the 10, but he's going to be far short of the goal line. So it'll be 4th and goal at about the 9. 2:42 to go. Very possibly the last Quaker possession of the game. So, Greenwood, they've Willem did some good things there on that drive, so maybe he'll be, the featured back next week, or at least one of them. 9:38 your time of day. Finally, a few fans starting to file out, but not many. Quite a few of the Greenwood fans have, filed out, but even then, many of them are still there. So now, hand off to Denbrook again. He's over on the right side, trying to get to the end zone. He's got a shot to make it. He's going to be close. Did he get in? Yes! Touchdown! Brandon Denbrook gets into the end zone. So it's 62-27 with the conversion pending. Let's see, coming into this game, Denbrook only had 2 carries in varsity action, but they went for 39 yards, including a 30-yarder. So, but now he gets his first varsity touchdown there with 2:06 to go. And, I have no problem when you've wrapped up a game. I have no problem with continuing to score points as long as you do it with your reserves, as Plainfield just did. So the extra point's good. 9 for 9 on the game now for Williams. And it's a 63-27 lead now for your Quakers. Well, next week, Plainfield's going to be playing a team that often scores 63 points or more, Decatur Central. So it should be quite an offensive showdown there on the southwest side of Indianapolis. I hope you all will be out there for that one. Unfortunately, I will not, because I will be down in Spencer commentating Cascade at Owen Valley, and I'm looking forward to that as well. I love all the Hendricks County teams. And Cascade is a program that I've fallen in love with as well. And I've fallen in love with the community of Clayton, and not just Cascade High School. So, anyway, but the game will be airing on Audio Sports Online, but with another commentator. I will be back here in 2 weeks for the home game against Whiteland, and then 4 weeks from tonight in the home game, Senior Day, against Martinsville. And I'm going to be here on Monday night, too, for the JV game between these two schools, Plainfield and Greenwood. So now kickoff fielded at about the 14, brought up to the 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. And he breaks past the 40, so nice return there by the Woodmen. 1:59 to go, and they'll have at least one more chance to do something on offense. $90 points collectively tonight. And now I see one of the coaching staff giving a huge hug there to who was that? To Denbrook. A well-deserved hug. Denbrook was a real workhorse on that last possession, getting his first varsity touchdown. Nice play for the sophomore. So now, handoff there by the Woodmen, and they're going to get a short gain, maybe 3 yards off of it. 1:52 to go and counting. Well, one thing I love about high school ball is that, most fans stay to the bitter end, no matter how much their team is winning or losing. It's so great for the kids, no matter what the score is, to look in the stands and see that the fans are all still there, giving them support, giving the kids support. So, I wish college and pro fans would follow that precedent. Most of the time they don't. Notre Dame is an exception. I've been to a couple of Notre Dame games, and they pretty well all stay to the end too. And, in fact, I always tell there as we get another rush there by the Woodmen for the first down and more past the 40, close to the 35. Clock will stop to move the chains with 1:12 to go, as the Woodmen will apparently try to get at least one more score here tonight. But, I've been to 2 Notre Dame games, Stanford in 2002 and then Florida State in 2003. And I tell all sports fans, make the pilgrimage there at least once in your lifetime. It is an experience unlike any other. And I am not a Catholic, by the way, but I have tremendous reverence for Notre Dame football, as well as for all the Catholic schools here in Indiana. I always love commentating them, for a lot of reasons. Because they, in a nutshell, they do things the right way on and off the field. So now a gain of about 5 there, 40 seconds to go. The Woodmen, not showing a whole lot of urgency, but, under 30 seconds to go now. They'll line up with one receiver to each side now. 2 running backs, 18 seconds to go now. Could be the last play of the game. And he's brought down for about 2 yards, and that probably will be the last play. Both teams have all 3 timeouts, but it looks like they're just... Okay, so they're forming a handshake line. So your Plainfield Quakers get back on track tonight with a huge victory, 63-27 over the Greenwood Woodmen, right here on AudioSportsOnline.com. We'll be back with a recap and a look ahead to next week after these words from our sponsors. You're listening to Plainfield Football, powered by AudioSportsOnline.com. This broadcast is brought to you by Wicker Construction, Gunnell and Kinnaman LLP, Jimmy John's, KG Enterprises, and Hoosier Tent and Party Rental. For more than 2 decades, Wicker Construction has engaged in building one-of-a-kind homes and remodeling projects while exceeding client expectations, delivering projects with professionalism and integrity. Wicker Construction works closely with you, the client, to understand your lifestyle and construction needs. Jimmy John's offers freaky fast delivery and are last-minute catering specialists. They're located at 2683 East Main Street next to BW3's and open from 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Saturday. More information can be found at 837-8282. That's 837-8282, or online at jimmyjohns.com. How prepared are you for retirement? Just a minute. Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, yeah, I'll take care of it the rest of the way. Yeah, thanks a lot. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I look forward to it. Thanks. Yeah. And good job on the halftime show, too. Thanks. How prepared are you for retirement? When will you be able to retire? How much will you be able to withdraw each year in retirement? What is the likelihood that you'll outlive your savings and investments? What are the financial issues that could deplete your assets? If you can't confidently answer all of these questions, then you might benefit from getting a written financial plan. Having a written financial plan increases your chances of a good retirement by 60%, according to a recent survey by Forbes magazine. However, they also reported that only 24% of people have a written financial plan. At Gunnell and Kinnaman Financial, we will help you plan for your future, and the best time to start is today. By coordinating your tax planning with your retirement planning, we can give the chance you want for a better retirement. Contact us today at 317-203-4433. That's 317-203-4433. Or email us at info@gkfin.com. That's info@gkfin.com. Gunnell and Kinnaman Financial Accounting Tax. Gunnell and Kinnaman Financial Accounting Tax and Wealth Managers. Hoosier Tent and Party Rental at 101042 Bradford Road in Avon. That's 101042 Bradford Road in Avon. Has been serving Hendricks County for 16 years. They have all your party rental needs. Call them at 317-242-9746. That's 317-242-9746 for your 2018 graduation party needs. Well, back here at Plainfield for a final time tonight, where your Quakers have just gotten a huge victory over the conference rival Greenwood Woodmen by a score of 63-27. The Woodmen entered the game ranked number 6 in the state in Class 4A with a 4-0 record, but they were stopped dead in their tracks by the host Quakers, who broke the game open in the second half after a shaky start in which they trailed for about half of the first half, then took a lead in the second quarter, and then exploded for 4 touchdowns in the third quarter and never looked back. With 9:30 to go in the first quarter, Greenwood opened the scoring on a 13-yard touchdown rush by quarterback Seth Gallman. However, they were no good on the extra point, making the score 6-0. Plainfield answered on the ensuing possession on a 69-yard touchdown pass from Ben Slaton to Gavin Jacobs. Landon Williams hit the extra point, giving the Quakers their first lead of the game at 7-6. However, Greenwood fired back quickly on an 8-yard touchdown rush by Brandon Rosado. Ostermeyer was good on the extra point, and the Woodmen had the lead at that point for the last time in the game, 13-7. Then, with 10:35 to go in the second quarter, Slaton threw 67 yards to Tyler McCarty for a touchdown. Williams' extra point made it 14-13. And then less than 2 minutes later, Slaton struck 35 yards to Cade Ritter for another touchdown, and Williams' extra point made it 21-13. And that was the last score for nearly a quarter's worth of action. However, it should be noted that late in the third quarter, Greenwood turned the ball over on downs at the Plainfield 2 when a Woodman touchdown and 2-point conversion would have tied it. And then Greenwood got the ball first to start the second quarter, and again with a chance to tie with a touchdown and the 2. But they ended up punting on that first possession, and then everything fell apart for the Woodmen at that point. With 9:30 to go in the third quarter, Dawson Anderson scored a touchdown on a 7-yard rush. Williams' extra point made it 28-13. Then on Greenwood's ensuing possession, Seth Gallman threw a pass that was intercepted by Colin Dorsett and returned 49 yards for a touchdown. Williams' extra point made it 35-13. And then on the ensuing kickoff, the Woodmen forgot to recover it, and it was picked up by the Quakers. And then with 7:51 to go, 36 seconds after the last score, Tyler McCarty caught his second touchdown pass of the game from Slaton, this one from 9 yards out. Williams' extra point made it 42-13. And then finally, with 4:13 to go in the third quarter, the Quakers got their fourth touchdown in 5 minutes and 17 seconds when Slaton threw 13 yards to Mason Burgess, and Williams' extra point made it 49-13. Greenwood finally got another score in the fourth quarter with 10:30 to go on a 3-yard run by Anthony Williams. Mark Osterheimer's extra point made it 49-20, but on the ensuing kickoff, Gage Jacobs took it in 93 yards for a touchdown, his second kickoff return touchdown on the season. Williams' extra point made it 56-20. Then with 7:35 to go in the fourth quarter, Nick Williams scored for Greenwood on a 5-yard rush. Osterheimer's extra point made it 56-27. And finally, with 2:06 to go and the second unit in the field, Brandon Denbrook, a sophomore for Plainfield, scored his first career varsity touchdown from 9 yards out on 4th and goal, by the way. And Landon Williams' extra point was good, making him 9 for 9 on the game and bringing us to our final score of 63-27. Look at the individual statistics. First of all, for your victorious Plainfield Quakers, Ben Slaton completed only 10 of 22 passes, but they went for 250 yards, giving him an even 25 yards per completion and 5 touchdowns and no interceptions. He completed passes to 4 different receivers, led by Gavin Jacobs, who had 2 receptions for 84 yards and a touchdown, followed by Tyler McCarty with 2 receptions for 76 yards and 2 touchdowns. Cade Ritter with 3 receptions for 62 yards and 1 touchdown, and Mason Burgess had 1 reception for 13 yards and 1 touchdown. On the ground, Dawson Anderson was steady with 19 rushes for 85 yards and 1 touchdown, while Brandon Denbrook had 6 rushes. Dawson Anderson had 19 rushes for 85 yards and a touchdown. Brandon Denbrook had 6 rushes for 40 yards and a touchdown, I believe all coming in the fourth quarter. Tavian Gadia had 7 rushes for 21 yards, and Nate Dalton had 1 for 18. For the Greenwood Woodmen, Seth Gallman had he completed 14 of 24 passes for 133 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. His leading receiver was Luke Raker, who had 4 receptions for 64 yards, followed by R.J. Myers with 4 receptions for 25 yards, Connor Batineau with 2 for 24, and Isaiah Drew 3 for 14. On the ground, Brandon Rosado was the leader, 17 rushes for 123 yards and a touchdown, followed by Seth Gallman with 10 rushes for 65 yards and a touchdown. Nick Willem, 7 rushes for 59 yards and a touchdown, and Oliver Rao, 6 rushes for 48 yards. Then looking at some other categories, first downs, Plainfield had 17, Plainfield 17, Greenwood 25. Plainfield ran 59 plays and totaled 429 yards. Greenwood actually, believe it or not, outgained the Quakers from scrimmage. They did run 16 more plays, though, and had 486 yards, 57 more yards. So 16 more plays and 57 more yards than the Quakers. And, of course, it should be noted that the Woodmen did turn it over in the second quarter, like I said, 1st and goal at the 2. And then, of course, Plainfield scored on the interception return and the kickoff return. So, skewing those statistics a little bit because Plainfield had a lot of gains that were not, had a lot of yards that were not on offense. So, let's see. Plainfield had 2 punt returns for 31 yards. Greenwood had 1 for 1 yard. Plainfield had 5 kickoff returns for 144 yards. Of course, 93 of them coming by Gage Jacobs on that touchdown return. And then Greenwood had 7 kickoff returns for 166 yards. Plainfield punted 3 times, averaging 39.7 yards. Greenwood 4 times, averaging 23.8 yards. Each team fumbled once and did not lose it. Plainfield was penalized 8 times for 70 yards. Greenwood 8 times for 114 yards. Plainfield had the ball for 19 minutes and 55 seconds. Greenwood actually had an 8-minute and 10-second edge on time of possession. They had the ball for 28 minutes and 5 seconds. Plainfield was an excellent, stellar 9 of 14 on third down conversions, while Greenwood was only 2 of 9. And on fourth down conversions, Plainfield was 1 of 2, that being the 9-yard touchdown rush there by Denbrook in the fourth quarter, while Greenwood was 1 of 3 on first down conversions. Greenwood was 1 of 3 on fourth down conversions. And then Plainfield was 4 for 4 scoring in the red zone. Greenwood 4 for 5. So, basically after really giving about a C performance in the first quarter, Plainfield really gave almost an A-plus performance the rest of the way. I'm almost tempted to say A-plus. So really, when you after the shaky first quarter, I would give Plainfield a solid A- for this game. The defense, really let the defense did not have an answer for Gallman's steady array of short passes and rushes on the first 2 possessions, on both of which resulted in Greenwood touchdowns. But after that, they figured out a way how to, that they basically, seemed to really limit the short passes after that. And Greenwood was really pushed into a lot of third and long situations, which is an uncomfortable position for a team without a strong passing attack. And once that happens, and then, of course, the interception return and the Plainfield recovery on the kickoff that Greenwood forgot to cover, and the kickoff return for a touchdown, Greenwood was just in over their heads. And then, but Plainfield, to their credit, they kept playing it strong the rest of the way, even with their second unit, who had a great touchdown drive there in the fourth quarter. So, looking at this schedule ahead, Decatur Central next week will be very tough. It's probably a game that Plainfield maybe has a 1-3, 1-4 chance of winning. But after that, they have 2 games that they should almost certainly win, both here at home. Whiteland 2 weeks from tonight, and then Martinsville 4 weeks from tonight on our senior day, our regular season finale. And then Greenwood at Greenwood 3 weeks from tonight looks pretty promising as well. So this looks like it's a team that's really starting to, hit its stride on defense, and did a great job, recovering, after that shaky start. They didn't lose their composure when they went down. The time I was a little worried in the game was when Greenfield had the ball with a 13-7 lead and had a chance to go up 2 possessions. And like I said on the air, I was afraid that if that happened, that Plainfield's defense wouldn't, wouldn't be strong enough to keep the Woodmen from continuing to, add to the lead, no matter how good Plainfield's offense was. But thankfully I was proven to be extremely wrong, and this is one time when I'm glad I was. So if you're a Plainfield fan, you got to feel good right now. I'd feel a lot better if Cathedral were not in our sectional. But the way I look at it, if we beat Decatur Central next week, they're ranked number 7 in the state right now in Class 5A. Cathedral's ranked number 5, so only two notches higher. So, if we, continue to improve the way we have this season and, bring our A-plus game and a few breaks go our way, who knows, maybe we could get out of the sectional alive. And, we don't know, but that's why you play the game. But, certainly after all the bad breaks that the Quakers have had in the playoffs over the years, I think the football gods owe us a few favors. Just like, when Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, in the worst season of his career. You know, I said that after all the rotten luck he had had in the playoffs over the years, the football gods owed him a few favors. So that's how I rationalized his win there, and I was glad to see him get it too. I think most Colts fans were. But we Quakers fans now, and we hope that we're going to make some history of our own this season. And we should be better next season when Anderson and Slaton are seniors. And, and also remember that basically Slaton is having an entirely new receiving core to work with this season after losing Ritter to DePaul and Keys to Northwest Missouri State. So I think, he's going to be better next year, not only, as a senior, but also having had another year to work with some of these wide receivers, the ones who will be back next year. Well, next week your Quakers go back on the road to play a very familiar opponent. Like I said, the Decatur Central Hawks on the southwest side of Indianapolis. And that's always one of the most special games of the year for several reasons. The two teams are conference rivals. They play each other every year, sometimes twice because they're in the same sectional. Of course, who could forget that 30-20 heartbreaker that we lost to Decatur Central in the sectional a couple of years ago. And not only that, but the two teams are, like I said, only 8 miles apart, and they're roughly the same magnitude. They're consistently winning programs that are notorious for having bad luck, or more specifically, bad draws in the tournament. And, in fact, very well, they could be the two best programs in the state who have only one sectional championship, each hoping this will be the year that they get over the hump and get number 2. And Decatur Central is always one of the most spectacularly entertaining teams in the state. They're well known for their offensive pyrotechnics. They light it up every year, no matter what their personnel is. Like I said, 4 years ago, they played the highest scoring game in Indiana history, losing to Perry Meridian in regulation, not in overtime. In regulation, 83-78, and the two teams combined for the 4th most yards, not in Indiana history, in American history, in a high school football game. This year, their big star is Tyrone Tracy. He's a senior running back, 4-year starter, already committed to playing for the University of Iowa, where he'll be joining another Indianapolis area running back, Toksakin Rabade from Brownsburg, now a sophomore for the Hawkeyes. Decatur Central also has a stellar quarterback in senior Bryce Jefferson, also a big college prospect. Jefferson's a good passer, but might be an even better rusher. He and Tracy both average about 10 yards a carry on the season. So my educated guess is that over the next 6 days, here in the Quakers practice, one of the main topics of conversation is going to be containing those two young men, Tracy and Jefferson. So I hope you all will get out there for that one and support the kids as they play possibly their toughest opponent of the regular season. Probably second toughest. I'd say, they're not quite as good as Avon, I don't think, but certainly their toughest conference opponent in the season. Decatur Central, the odds-on favorite to run away with the Mid-State Conference Championship this year, although Plainfield would be in the driver's seat with a win. Unfortunately, I will not be down there at that one. My heart is broken because I would love to be there. I will be down in Spencer, Indiana, about 50 miles south of Indianapolis, as Cascade visits Owen Valley. I'm looking forward to that one, too. I wish you could split me in half and I could do both games at the same time. Or, what I'm really hoping for is that one of them will have a weather delay on Friday, so that and it will be delayed to Saturday, so I can do both games, which actually happened to me one time 4 years ago. I did Decatur Central here at Plainfield on Saturday morning, and then that night went up to Franklin, went up to do Danville at Frankfort. So anyway, I will be checking in with the score of the Decatur Central Plainfield game quite often, and I hope you all will have a great time there at the game. My heart will be with you all, and then I look forward to rejoining you 2 weeks from tonight back here at Plainfield for the Franklin game. Then 3 weeks from tonight, you all Plainfield plays their last road regular season game at Whiteland, and then I will be at Cascade that week for the game between Cascade and Edgewood. And finally, 4 weeks from tonight, then I will be here for Senior Day as Plainfield plays Martinsville in the regular season finale. Should be a very easy win, as should the as should the Franklin game. So anyway, once again, your final score here tonight: Plainfield 63, Plainfield 63, Greenwood 27. Great win for the Quakers. They played well from top to bottom. I think they just had to split the game ball for the whole team. If I had to give it to one guy, it would be Ben Slaton with his 5 touchdown passes and no interceptions. But it was an outstanding team effort, offense, defense, and special teams. And if they keep this up the rest of the way, they have a shot to go a long way. And who knows, they might even pull off the upset against Cathedral. Not a good chance, but maybe an outside chance. So they just got to keep on doing what they're doing tonight and keep improving the rest of the way. Well, this concludes our broadcast. As always, thank you so much for listening, and I cordially invite you to do so again next Friday at 6:45 p.m. right here on audiosportsonline.com as your Plainfield Quakers visit the Decatur Central Hawks. And then I look forward to being with you all again in 2 weeks right here as Plainfield plays against Franklin. Until we meet again for audiosportsonline.com, this is Lec Zorn. Good night, and go Quakers. Thank you for listening to Plainfield Football powered by audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast is brought to you by Wicker Construction, Gunnell and Kinneman LLP, Jimmy John's, KG Enterprises, and Hoosier Tent and Party Rental.